Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome back. It is Europa final eve. The day before the Europa League final, we've heard that there's going to be no Bergvall, which shouldn't be a surprise. I don't think it's a huge thing either, but it shouldn't be a surprise when you're told a player is out for the rest of the season. I don't really expect them to take part in a massive game. Ange reacts to people calling him a clown. He got a bit annoyed at certain comments that were made by certain people in the press. He's hit back. We've seen who's training for Manchester United and who is not training for Manchester United. And other than that, there's not really a lot going on in the world of Spurs. Just the Europa League final. Big up, good afternoon and good evening to every one of you. Maybe I'm trying something new tonight. There's a new feature on StreamYard which allows the comments to come up on the side of the screen. So I'm trying that. I don't know what it actually looks like, so I'm not watching. Actually, I could probably just quickly go into my own show and have a look. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, that's interesting. So what does Ange have up his sleeve for tomorrow? What do the players have in their locker for tomorrow? Are Tottenham Hotspur going to give us a night to remember, or are we going to be the nearly men of football again? It's a huge game. For many reasons, we talked about it this morning. It is not just about lifting a trophy anymore. It is about what this means for the club financially, for our reputation, who we can attract. No European football next year means one game a week, which means you need a smaller squad, which means players have to go. That changes the number of players you can bring in. So this is going to be really, really interesting tomorrow night. It is so important. There will be people out there telling you Savva doesn't want to win. Let me tell you this. Savva does want to win, and Savva understands the importance of what winning means. Before we do anything, smash the like button. Come on, let's start as we mean to go on. Hang on, let's get rid of that. What's going on there? Oh, why is that doing that? Let's start as we mean to go on. Smash that like button. We're 10 away from 17.8k. We're 10 away from that. And on the like front, come on, we should have 100 likes. We should just be smashing out the likes as we go on. In a minute, what I will do is I will drop the link into the chat. As always, anybody is welcome on. Please, I want it to be about tomorrow night. Again, if people want to ring up and talk to me about Arsenal, Club Brugge, Liverpool, I don't really see the legs in that. I don't see the legs in it. Let's keep it on topic. You must have your camera on, and please, just be sensible about it. It's madness. People come into the back, they start doing that in the camera and then leaving, and you think, I mean, how old are you? You know, it's a bit silly. Let's keep it mature just for one day. Let's see what characters we get in tonight. We normally get that guy Rico. Oh gosh, we haven't had Ben for a while, have we? I wonder if he will turn up. I'm going to put the link in the chat. As I always say, please be wearing clothes, standard. Please have something you want to talk about. This isn't for me to get you on the show and go, right, do you think this? This is your chance. This is, if you agree with me on something, you might just want to vent, you might want to rant, you might want to praise, you might want to debate. Maybe something I've said over this last year. Something I've said over the last year you might have disagreed with, right? Feel free to come on. Lots of people who are very brave in the chat, like this clown from earlier. Let's see him come on. Let's have a chat. Let's have the chat. Let's see all the people who call me negative. Come on. Let's have the chat. Let's see who will. I love this. Henry Fong TV, odds to join the call. Lubo, 72. Danny at 4-1. Stell's in Bilbao. Barry at 12. Hippie would never come on. You know that. Matt, he'll never come on. Reezy and Matt are the same person, never come on. Ben, I reckon you could probably shorten those odds. Angus, he's not Spurs. He's not coming on today. Ryan at 15-1. Matty K at 30-1. No, Matty K talks a lot in WhatsApp groups. When it comes to coming on screen, he's not there yet. Give him a few years. We'll give him a few years. Let's see who there is out there, shall we? And it can be, as I said, it can be anything about Spurs. Good, bad, ugly. Levy in, Levy out. Enoch in, Enoch out. Hate Solanke, love Solanke. Hate Ange, love Ange. Indifferent about Ange. Let's see. This is the show where I give everyone an opportunity so that all of those that talk a great game in the chat, we can out them and say, you had your chance and you didn't. And you get loads of them. So here is the link. Please, as I said, if you don't follow any of those guidelines, I might say to you, look, I don't want you to come onto the show. And that's that. There is the link. It is there. I'm going to pin that link so that nobody's got an excuse. It is now the pinned message for anybody that does want to come on. But please, please, please have something to say. Please, for the love of the football gods, have something to say. And the first thing is AJ not listening to me. I don't want to talk Arsenal. I don't want to talk Club Brugge or Liverpool. I want to talk Tottenham. The first person who calls AJ. Come on, dude. You're killing me here. Are you wanting to talk about Tottenham or Arsenal? Which one? Put one finger up for Tottenham or two up for Arsenal. Okay, this better be good because this is my calling show. And the first person I want on, I don't want people to lose interest because we're talking about Arsenal. Right, AJ. I cannot believe I say no Arsenal fans, no Liverpool fans, and you're the first one to die in. Brilliant. Oh, dearie me. How are you, mate? You okay?
Today's been peaceful. Afternoon's a little stressful, but peaceful today. But
good.
Yeah, that final. Good. Bloody hell. Yeah, I don't know how. I think Tottenham deserve to get there because sure, you can't choose the teams that you played, but you done what you needed to do. But Man United, they scammed their way past Lyon, and while they deserve to beat Athletic Bilbao, it wasn't a red in the first leg.
Hang on. So basically, you've called in to say that both the teams that have made the final don't deserve to be in the final.
I think Tottenham do deserve it. I just don't think United.
We deserve it, right? It's just Man U that don't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, Man U dispatching Bilbao 7-1.
They should have even got to the semis. Like, they screwed Lyon at Old Trafford. Because that weren't a second yellow. That was their dive.
Okay.
As far as the final's concerned, I don't know who wins.
Who should be in the final if Man U shouldn't?
Oh, I don't know because Lyon blew it, but at the same time, like they beat Man United if it's 11 versus 11.
Yeah, but throughout the test of time, you can use these. We can always say this: they beat them 11v11, but Man United scored 2 goals in about 4 minutes, didn't they, to go through? Like, surely, listen, as bad as I think Spurs have played, can't say that teams that get to the final don't deserve to be there. Whether they've had an easy run, whether they've had some luck is subjective, but surely both teams deserve to be in that final, right? Surely.
That does make sense. Like, I'll concede that point. But I genuinely don't know who wins that final. Like, there's ways I can see Spurs winning it. Because Højlund presents no threat to your defenders. But at the same time, it'd be the most Tottenham thing if Van de Ven decided to cost you the final.
Okay, so Højlund is no threat to us. Look, what I would say is this. Look, the last time we played Man United, we got the 1-0 win. And what I would say is Man United had a lot of opportunities. They had a lot of opportunities in that game. So I do feel that they will know how to get to goal. But you are right. I don't think it's the most clinical Man United team I've ever seen. But they have been scoring a lot of goals in the Europa League, haven't they?
True. For me, that only saving grace in attack is Amad Diallo. He's the only viable threat to your defenders. And Van de Ven aside, I don't really think many of your defenders have been that good. Spencer's been solid. Porro's been meh. Romero's been poor by his standards. Donkey's been in and out through injuries. So, I don't know. Like, at the same time, your attackers aren't that great either. So, I don't know how this goes.
Who do you want to win?
To be fair, I don't know because I don't like. The thing is, Tottenham, I don't hate. Like, I hate Chelsea more than Spurs. But at the same time, I can't have you win a trophy after the season you have. Of the season you have. It'd be a travesty of justice. But
So who do you want to win?
I don't know. Like, I lose either way. It just how bad is it gonna hurt? That's all it
What's
is.
the lesser? Stop being a politician. What's the lesser of two evils for you? Do you want Spurs, your rivals, or Man United to win? By the way, there's somebody in the back, in the back room. You need to put your camera on, or I will boot you. Just Mets. You need your camera on because I don't know you, dude. AJ, come on. I'm going to need to push you for an
I'll
answer
get
here.
Man United. Man United.
You want Man United
I can
to
live
win?
with. Listen, I'll live with them for a summer. I'm not dealing with Tottenham. No, I'm not having Hotspur keep laughing in my face.
You want Spurs to win, don't you? You just don't want to say it live on camera. You want
Okay,
Spurs to win this final.
The thing is, I'd prefer Manchester United to win it, and I'll say that now. Like, there are some benefits of Tottenham win. Like, it'll finally be the slap the Arsenal fans need to wake up, but that's another conversation.
All right, listen. Last thing I'm going to ask you: give me a score prediction for tomorrow night.
Oh God, 3-2 Man United.
3-2 Man United. There you go. So Man U have no goal threat, no one that can hurt us, but are going to beat us 3-2. I love that. Absolutely brilliant. Listen, AJ,
right, I understand that. I'll put my face on camera if I'm wrong. Don't worry about that.
No, I know you.
I will be there.
Listen, people too much emphasis on this. He's right, she's right, he's wrong. You know, it is what it is. Listen, dude, I've got a few people waiting. I'm gonna kick you out. Bring one of them in. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
And feel free to just say you want Spurs to win. Big up to you, my man. Take care.
Disgrace.
Big up. Right, listen, in the background, I have got Ryan, Carl, Miles, Just Mets. If you don't put your camera on, I'm going to boot you, dude. It's that simple. It's that simple, mate. YouTubers are not silly. We understand how this works. And then I've got JD as well. So apologies for anyone who's going to be waiting. Listen, yeah, dude, listen, I understand you're saying you can't show your face, but I can't let you on and take that risk. I'm so sorry, mate. Been stung too many times before. Big up, Ryan. How you doing, bro? You well?
Yeah, just two things. First of all, one to Henry, you should just put me favourites because you know I'm probably going to turn up. And secondly, how's the puppy before we start?
Puppy is absolutely fine. The puppy is big now. So, yes, very, very well.
Yeah, so...
What are you saying, Ryan?
What we saying? Well, Ryan's turning around and sticking to the narrative that we're still going to go and win the Europa League. Now, it's funny because today I've had a debate with a friend of mine who's a West Ham fan who actually spoke about the game with me. And he's turned around and said that United are going to just outclass us altogether. Now, I don't think that. Like, I honestly think we're going to have too much. But it will be one of two ways. It will either be an instant classic where there's just going to be God knows how many goals, or it's going to be a shit show. Literally, Sam. That's how I see it.
Do you believe that either of these two teams have the quality to completely outclass the other? Like, I think both teams have had horrible seasons. Both teams that leave a lot to desire when you watch them play. We've got all our creative players out. They've got some injuries at the back. Do you think there's any way in which a team wins this 3-0 or completely blows the other one away? I can't see it. I think it's going to be a real stinky game. I really do.
See, this is why I'm a bit torn on which way it's going to go for tomorrow. Because, like I said, it could either be a shit show or it could actually be an instant classic. Now... that's the only problem I've got because I can't predict a scoreline on what I hope. Because feelings is one thing, but then being realistic is something totally different. But I just don't know how it's going to be just literally a one-way streak, like you said, Savva. Like, there's no way it's going to be a one-way streak.
I don't think so. I
Could,
think, look, they've got the standout player across the two teams. If we're going to be honest, they've got their main man. They got Bruno Fernandes, and he is their main man. He is their goal threat. He is their creator. So for me, I think that this is all about, right, nullify him, because in midfield, I look at it. It's very, very, it's workmanlike. It's hardworking. I struggle to see that we're going to create a lot actually playing through them. I think it's going to be more about crosses into the box, corners. I think it's going to be more that type of a game than it is free-flowing, tick-a-tacker, passing from either side.
Now, I want to ask you something, Sav, because this is where I think it's going to me turning it back onto you now.
Go on.
If we go into with having to have an attack in mid tomorrow, who plays there? Because I can't see anyone in our team who plays but in there, because Bergval's out, Maddison's out. Kulu, is he fit?
Kulu's out. No, Kulu's out.
Okay, so Kulu's out. So
I wouldn't. I'll be honest. I'd be tempted to play two up top, and I'd be tempted to try and get the ball into Solanke and Richarlison and make a fight of it rather than trying to make it pretty. I don't think we've got anyone that can take this game from... Listen, I always think in any team, you need that guy that is the conduit between midfield and attack. You need that guy that is 25, 30 yards out from goal, that can receive their ball with the ball with back to goal and can lay players in, can turn. That is James Maddison. Without that, I just don't know. For me, I think I'd go counter-attacking completely tomorrow. I think Ange ball, and for anyone not looking at me, I am doing the quote marks. I think Ange ball is non-existent. It's not good to watch. When we counter-attack, we've got the pace. When we counter-attack, I think we look better. So for me, I would be looking at getting in with Sonny, with whoever down the line, maybe hitting the front guys early and trying to get into the box. I don't think I'd play a 10. If we haven't got one, I don't want to pretend somebody is a number 10 in a game of this magnitude. And this is what pissed me off, right? So last thing, right? This is what pissed me off, right? When people are saying to me, oh, Savva doesn't want to win the final because he wanted to go full strength versus Villa and Palace. No, what Savva actually said was, and I won't talk about myself in the third person like an idiot, was I thought that was his opportunity to try something. I thought against Villa was his opportunity to say, right, maybe Richie goes up top and Solanke drops deeper into the 10. Maybe Son plays in the 10 off Solanke. I just felt that playing the weaker team, playing weak teams in both games, I don't see how that was preparing for the final like he promised in his interview. So in the, with the team talk after the game where he was going, I'm really proud, we're going to use the next two games. And then he didn't. Is that fair?
Yeah, but then I'm hearing things right now, Sav, and I don't agree with this. So I want to get your opinion on this.
Go for it.
I'm hearing some people were saying that Sonny could potentially play in that cam, and I don't believe that should be done in any way, shape, or form. No way, personally. I don't. What's your opinion on it?
And say that again. So say that again.
Right, I'm hearing that some people are saying they want Sonny in that cam position tomorrow for the final. Right. Now, I don't agree with that. Now, personally, I don't think that would work in any way, shape, or form. But what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, listen, I think if you had given him the last two games to at least get some game time there, maybe. I mean, he's an intelligent enough player to do it. What I do think with Son is he's very weak. Son is a weak footballer. He's always relied on his pace and his ability to be able to glide past players. My worry is if the ball goes into Sonny in the 10, is he strong enough to hold people off? Is he good enough to bring the ball in, lay others in? I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to experiment in a one-off final. I feel like you've had your chance and we haven't taken it. We have not taken that chance to experiment. So for me, I think you're going to see a 4-3-3 tomorrow, or you're going to see a kind of hybrid 4-4-2. And we're going to go with the two big guys up top for physicality.
I hope so, Seth. I hope so. I just don't want to see Son in that cam position tomorrow, because if he does that, right, A, it's literally game over before it's even started, and B, we'll just get. So I just don't, like you said, I don't think Sonny's got the strength. Unfortunately, I just don't think he's got the strength.
Yeah, look, I mean, we'll see tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. I think, listen, if Sar's fit, he might pack the midfield and go workman-like, because they're going to have the two in there of Casemiro and Agate, probably, with Bruno dropping in to make it free. And Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, these are the masters of dark arts. These people have been there, seen it, done it. They're experienced winners. So, look, I don't know. Look, we'll see. I think he'll play Sonny on the left. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he played him there against Villa. I thought he actually did some nice things there. But look, the problem with Son, it's not the same Son. Yeah? It's not the same Son. And he can beat a man, but it's the final ball. It's the end product. And we need him to produce that tomorrow. We need him to roll back the years. And we need him to do something like he used to do for this club. No, but Ash, no, but it's a different type of strength. James Maddison's game is about receiving the ball, holding it up. He knows how to shield players. He knows how to draw the free kicks. Sonny's game is more reactionary. When I get the ball, I run with it. Use strength. There's a big difference between being strong and knowing how to play the position with strength. There's a huge difference. Any coach will tell you that. There's a huge difference. It's not about, look, David Silva's not strong as a footballer, but look at David Silva in that number 10. He's strong at holding people off. He knows how to manipulate the ball, keep it away from players. Listen, Ryan, I'm going to have to let you go. We're building up. We've got 3 people waiting in the background.
So, can I just quickly end with this just so you can use it into the next to the next person. The trophy parade that's meant to be Friday, I don't agree with that, but that's where I'm going to leave it, and I'll let you continue with your show, and you can take that on to the next person. But that was just the last thing I wanted to say.
I think it's really unfair on those that have gone. I think it's really unfair on all the fans that have paid to go to Bilbao and won't be back in time unless they've got a really early flight. But look, I'll be honest. When people talk about a trophy parade, I guess it depends what type of character you are. I'll be honest. I don't want to go and stand on a high road for a bus to go past me for 5 minutes and then I go, oh, well, I'm going home now. If I'm brutally honest, I've got better things to be doing than oh, bye. See you later. I don't know. I think if I lived there, but I'm what is it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon during school time?
It's just stupid. Personally, I don't agree with it. I say end it off with, at the end of the season, once it's all done, then do it. Personally, but that's all I've got to say on the matter, Savva. And that's why I'm saying you can take that on and speak about it more with the next person if you want. That's up to you. But I've said what I've got to say.
Listen, it's whatever they want to talk about. Listen, mate, thank you very much as always, and I'll see you on the next show. Yeah, cool. See you later, Sam. Take care, buddy. See you later, mate. Bye-bye. See you, bye. Right, so next up I've got Carl, then I've got Miles, then I've got Master Mason, who put a very cryptic message in the back saying, hi, Savva, I just want to share something with you for a second. That makes me worried about letting you on the screen. You've got a mask on your face as well. That really, you are worrying me, I'm not going to lie. You are worrying me. Anyway, Carl, I'll bring you on. How are you doing? KVP, how are we doing, mate?
I'm good, man. Been over 3 years since I was last on this channel. 3 years ago.
Where you been?
Oh, sorry, man. Just been busy dealing with some issues. And, been doing activities. And, been for a tour around football stadiums and that. So, but, and I'm excited for tomorrow. And I think we will just nick it. And we have their number. 3 times we played them, 3 times we won. We've done them 3 times. And they've got Bruno and they've got pretty much all the players, but Bruno's probably their main man. And they've got Onana, who's played in European finals and not won one. And so I think we'll win. I'll be in a pub tomorrow watching it. And I mean, want us to win it, because everyone who doesn't like us has been taking the mick out of us for decades. But that changes tomorrow. And I've just seen Fernando Llorente reunite with Son and Ben Davies.
Carl, let me ask you then. You said that you mentioned that Tottenham have beaten Man United 3 times this year, which we absolutely have. Do you think tomorrow's game is going to be the same as those games? Because I just felt that as the games were moving on, by the way, Caesar, I'm only taking calls about Tottenham, mate. I'm only taking calls about Tottenham tonight. Caesar, yeah, sorry, mate. I don't want to, no offense, I don't want to talk about Club Bruges tonight, the day before a cup final. Carl, I mean, in the first game, I mean, it was still Ten Hag, right? And I think we ran right the way through them. The second game, we were very comfortable, and then it ended up being a very nervy game. And then the third game, I actually thought they were much better than us, had loads of chances, but we got the win. Are they getting used to how we play? Are we going to play how we played in those games, or are we going to be a bit tighter at the back? What do you think the game is going to be like?
I think we're probably going to play like how we did in them 3 games, like you said. But yeah, I think we should just nick it, as I said. But yeah, like if he does go with that lineup or something, like if he does play like we did in them 3 games, then yeah, I think should be a brilliant game. Like yeah, that is probably what he'll do. But obviously, I don't pick the lineup.
So you think he'll probably be a little bit like second leg Bodo, second leg Frankfurt, where it was dropping his awful football and actually go into a bit more pragmatic, a proper back 4. Is that what you think he'll do tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's what I think he'll do. But like, if he does, then fair enough. Like, I'm not going to say the other things. Like, I'll give him credit. If he does, then credit is where credit's due. That's all I say. But yeah, just get the job done tomorrow, boys, and bring that trophy home. And then, yeah, do what you can, boys. But do it for everyone else who's a Spurs fan, and bring that home to N17, because it's our time. Like, Man United were last in the Europa League final against Villarreal, and they got beaten on pens. De Gea missed a penalty, and 2 of our former players won it with Villarreal. You had Capu and Juan Foyth. So that's basically our B team, basically, but not that one. This one's tomorrow, and yeah, so yeah, I'm going for a 3-0 win. I said it on We Are Tottenham TV at the weekend and on Friday. I said it yesterday, I think, or the day before. Sunday, yeah, that's right. I said it Sunday and Friday. 3-0. I'm sticking with it, as it was at Old Trafford. Mickey's going to do what he did. 1 pass to defence and assist for Brennan Johnson, and 3-0. So, yeah, I'll be happy with that. Romero, yeah, hopefully he can do better. And Son needs the game of his life. Now that Kulu's out, Bergval's out. And, yeah, that's all I can say. But, yeah, I'll be in the pub watching it.
Listen, I speak for all Spurs fans, where I think if your prediction comes true, we'll all be very happy with a 3-0 win. I can't quite see that we're 3 goals better than them. I can't quite see where the creativity is coming from in any way, shape or form. But I also don't think they're great. So this is why I think this is going to be a real, I think this is 50-50. I really do. But you're right. We need to win a trophy. Do you know what? I think more than needing to win the actual trophy, this is so important for what we do in the summer, who we can attract, having transfer revenue. If we don't win this game tomorrow, it's been our worst ever Premier League season, and we're going in with a revenue deficit of about 120 to 130 million pounds. This is huge for so much more than just lifting the trophy at this point. But I'll make you right, Carl. Spurs tomorrow, we've got to do it. I'm bored of going to finals and not winning them. I'm bored of it. We've got to win one.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm bored as well, man, because we can't lose another final in Spain like we did in 2019. We can't lose this one. As I said many times, we were robbed in that final in Madrid. It was never a penalty, and it was the worst Champions League final in history. And even my carer agreed. Nobody turned up. The fans turned up. The players didn't, because I actually thought we were a better team in that second half in the Champions League final. Even Glenn Hoddle mentioned it. We were the better team, but the players just didn't turn up. And the reason why we lost is because of Kane starting, and he wasn't fit. Lucas got us there, but we probably should have worn that green kit because there's just special moments about in green. And so we won that green kit, we would have won it because wearing the white one isn't that great. But obviously, the club picked us, and that's
Carl, let's be honest. Carl, let's be honest. Our performances have nothing to do with what colour kit we wear. Like the performances, it's all about on the night, the manager getting it right, the players getting it right, and having a plan. Let's be brutally honest. Carl, listen, I've got 3 people waiting, so I'm going to let you go. Don't leave it so long next time, my man, all right? Don't leave it so long. It's nice seeing you, all right?
See you soon, mate.
You take care. Enjoy tomorrow and don't get too drunk in the pub, all right?
Or
do get drunk. Go and get drunk. Get drunk, Carl. You do what you got to do, man.
No
Enjoy.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. So up next, I've got Miles, then Master Mason, and then everybody's favourite popcorn guest, Ben. Bottom of the V, Ben. I don't know if we've hit the bottom of the V yet, 25 defeats and counting, but some point we've got to hit the bottom of that V. I have no idea what he's going to say today. Before we get going, big up to Arsenal, just a spicy Spurs with a super sticker. Thank you very much, my friend. Really, really do appreciate any super stickers that come in. By the way, listen, what I won't do, I'll give you 2 more opportunities before I block you, Aussie dude. That is not what I said at all. No one heard me say trophies don't matter. That is not what I said. I said this is now no longer just about lifting the trophy. Please use your ears because I won't have people lying because people like you go into other shows and lie about something I have not said. Listen to what I said. Yes, we need to win a trophy, but there is so much more at stake than just winning the trophy now. All right? Use your brain. Stop being silly. Big up to my man, Miles. How you doing, bro? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, listen, always good. My end, always good. Here, ready to have the banter and the debate, whatever needs be. What do you want to say, my man?
I'm just a bit worried. I'm not going to talk about the cup. I'm not going to talk about the cup final. Really, I'm going to talk about the effects, the post effects of what happens if we win or if we lose.
Sure.
The transfer window is still looking quite bleak, even if we win, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling that even if we do win the Champions League, not the Champions League, the Europa League, I have a feeling that we might have to save still this transfer window to progress in further transfer windows, at least in the ownership's eyes, because I have a feeling that the fear of the trophy of the Premier League position might generally make us think, whoa, let's hold on a second. We've just spent how much on a manager and we're 17th in the league. Like, I have a feeling the ownership might be like, we need to be conservative. Because when you think about it, the conservative time, when they were conservative with their money with Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, so on, we had higher positions and we still got to cup finals even post during that.
Miles, are you saying if Ange is the manager, they'll be a bit more tighter with the purse strings, or if a new manager was to come in, they'd still be tighter with the purse strings?
I think it depends on if it's Ange, definitely. But if a manager like Xavi comes in, or a coach in which they think, oh, we've got all these kids and we've got a manager that can coach these kids into worldies, in big quotation marks there.
Yeah.
I fear that they will still be a bit cheap this transfer window because they've got such a backlog of young players that, in their eyes, still have the ability and that they've spent money on. And I feel like I'm feeling that there's been a discussion on your channel specifically about Paulinho. I don't think we're going to get Paulinho. I think we're going to get Tell. And I would have preferred Paulinho. Of course I would. I think most Spurs fans would. But I have a feeling it will be Tell. And I think Tell will be our marquee signing of the year in their eyes.
I think if we get Champions League football and go and sign Tell, that shows you absolutely that the club have absolutely no interest in competing properly. I don't mean one-off winning a trophy. I mean properly. You
I
can't
think
go
in
and
that,
buy
I
Tell
think in,
for 40, 50 million. It just doesn't make any sense at all. He's shown nothing that would suggest that you can't get better for 40, 50 million. And let's be brutally honest, this club does not need that position right now. If you're talking to me about going to get Mbuemo, there's your 50 to 60 million, not on another 19-year-old kid. Equally, if Ange is still the manager, I do not want Tell to come in. Ange can't develop young players. I don't want him doing that. If it's a Xavi, no, I'll sod that. I don't want Tell. I'll be honest.
I was going to say, are you seriously trying to?
I do not want Tell at this football club. But look, it's an interesting point you brought up because, look, if we get Champions League, it's going to be the same thing where we're all sitting there saying, Daniel Levy, there's no excuses. You know the revenue that's coming in, right? I think Romero's gone. If we're going to be brutally honest, I think Romero is going, right? I think that you might see one other big player go. Again, it depends if Ange stays. If Ange stays, I can't see certain players wanting to still play the way he plays. People like James Maddison, I don't think will want to do this again. I think Romero's off anyway. Now, if you've got Champions League, you've got to replace these players. If you don't get Champions League, we're playing one game a week. One game a week with not a lot of revenue coming into the club because we're £37 million down on Premier League prize money and we'll have no European revenue for a year. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be a very weird transfer window. I really do.
If we don't win the Europa League, I actually think that will, even though there'll be less game time, I want us to win the Europa League before anyone else in the comments says that this guy doesn't want to win.
Don't worry, you don't have to say that. It's just the Ange In fans that say that to people that like me that don't like Ange, that apparently we don't want to win it. It's ridiculous.
I've only watched one cup come to this club in my lifetime. I can't be doing this. Where I've had 3 finals since then, and we've lost each one. But like, if we don't win the Europa League, maybe that would be a time that season. I'd write off the season instantly. If we don't win the Europa League, I'm writing off next season because I think the next season would be a development year.
Agreed.
More than anything else. I think we would buy someone like an Eze as like the one major person, and maybe a Tell with a renegotiated price. I think those would be our 2 signings. I don't think we're going to get a 6.
Do you truly believe Tell? Not Tell. Do you truly believe that Eze would come to Tottenham if we're not in Europe?
Unless, sorry, my brain went fried for a second there. Unless Crystal Palace don't give him a new contract with an upped salary, I think there's a possibility. I'm purely saying this out of wanting him to come because I love Eze. I think he's an absolutely incredible player.
And you know who turned him down in the summer? Ange Postecoglou.
I already didn't really like Ange Postecoglou. Now I really don't like Ange Postecoglou.
Turned down the chance to sign Eze, right? I've heard this from 2 sources at Tottenham Hotspur and somebody who's very good friends with his agent that Eze was offered to Tottenham and Ange said no. Let that sink in. He didn't want to play like Eze. Baffling.
But he wanted a player like Werner and he wanted a player like Tell.
Baffling. But hey, it is what it is. Look, Miles, the last thing I'll say is, look, I said this on my show this morning. Fans, yes, we can only worry about a trophy. Sure. But there's so much more at stake from this game. There is so much more at stake. If we do not win this game tomorrow, first and foremost, it's been the most horrific season I've seen in my lifetime, right? First of all, it will be the worst season I've seen at Tottenham in 42 years, okay? The worst. Stats, facts, position, number of defeats, number of wins, number of points, everything is just awful, right? Further to that, if we don't win this, people are going to go in the summer and where's all the revenue? Well, the revenue was lost because we didn't win the Europa League, so we have no Europe, and we finished 17th in the table. And most of you said, don't worry about the league games. It doesn't. This is a massive game for the next few years of the club, because what's going to happen, Miles, as well, is You've got all the teams that are going to be in the Champions League that are just going to keep doing that and that and that and that with the players they can buy.
Yep.
You've got Newcastle and Villa.
Crystal Palace, Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth. There are so many teams that are at the moment progressing further more than Spurs are. They are higher up in the tables. They're getting the revenue in. Yeah. They are, and some of them are even expanding their stadiums. Fulham have got an extension.
Sorry,
Yeah.
by the way, this is 100%. I've spoken to two people. One I know works at a club. One who is good friends with Eze's agent. Eze was offered to Ange, and Ange Postecoglou did not want him. He's not an Ange player. I get it. Eze's a maverick. Eze don't want to be tracking back on the halfway line and Eze. Look. So when people are saying it, trust me on this one. I wouldn't say trust me if I only heard a rumor. This is 100%.
That's diabolical. That's completely diabolical. But like, there are teams, even Man United are predicted, if they win this Europa League, it'll boost them heavily. Sure. I mean, and they're getting a new stadium in a few years. Everton have got a new stadium. Fulham, so their revenues are going to get higher. They're going to have more money to play with. Where are we going?
Miles, look at Man United. Man United might not even be in Europe next year and are already signing players like Matheus Cunha. Right?
Oh, but we can only sign players once the transfer window starts.
But
Frimpong, Wirtz.
Yeah, but Miles, the problem is if we really read into this properly, right? If we really read into this, Spurs for me can't be looking at players if we don't think the manager is going to be Ange. Now, whether you're Ange in or Ange out, take your Ange in, Ange out, hat off. Take your hat off. Forget that for the minute. All the noise around the club is that this manager, even if he wins, will not be here. I've never seen that before in as much as I've seen it around this manager. I haven't. Not at Spurs, not anywhere. I've never seen such noise that a manager's going to be leaving even if he wins a European trophy. Fabio Paratici is coming back to the club. Him and Ange, that does not work. That does not work, right, at all in any way, shape or form. So
two completely different philosophies.
Absolutely. Completely different philosophies, two different personalities, right? Now you've got to look at it like this. If Paratici, we know Paratici's coming back, right? He's at every home game. We know he's coming back. It's written there.
Yeah, he's coming back.
For me, I said this a while back, right? I might be right. I might be wrong. It's not the end of the world if I'm right, and it's not the end of the world if I'm wrong, that people will make it. I said the moment he hired that brand new CEO, it made sense to me why Ange had not been sacked. Because whether, again, remove the Ange in, Ange out hat, no manager has ever survived doing this appallingly bad with Daniel Levy. No manager has ever survived this shit show. No one, right? 17
Not many mid-table teams do the same.
We're talking about clubs like Everton and Wolves had more sense than to sack their man. Anyway, right? So when he brought in that CEO, the first thing I said was that makes sense now. He's having a clean sweep of the hierarchy in the summer. And what I meant by that was I think Mung goes, I think Lang goes, and I think Ange goes. And I think that is what Fabio Paratici's probably been doing, is finding managers. Now, I could be wrong, but if he is finding a manager, you can't buy players now because that manager will not want to come in and go, sorry, you signed him. Yeah, he doesn't fit in my plan. Do you see what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
How do you buy a player when you don't know who's the manager next season? Or
there are players. There are players that can do all sorts of different versions, football strategies and formations. For instance, so I like I said, going back to Paulinho, I think Paulinho can play in an aggressive team, and I think he can play in a pragmatic team. I think he can play in both.
For sure. But then you've got to look at the flip side of things, right? Let's be fair. If Tottenham Hotspur ring up Paulinho's agent, the first thing Paulinho's agent is going to say is, let me wait and see if you're in Europe next season. Right?
Yeah,
because players have ego, right? Players have ego. And Paulinho, whilst he's not got the game time at Bayern he would want, you're not telling me there's not a team out there that can offer him European football above top, right? So I think we're in a really odd position And let's be fair, we're going to know everything in 24 hours. Well, we're going to know everything in 30 hours, aren't we? We're going to know everything. We're going to know whether we're in Europe. Let's be fair. If Ange doesn't win tomorrow night, he's got absolutely no chance of keeping his job. You can't finish 17th in the Premier League, not win anything, and be in a job. Plus, many are saying he's gone anyway. None of us know the truth. We're going to find out in the next 30 hours.
I mean,
right?
in his press conference, he said that he thinks this job isn't done.
Sure, he can say that. He can say he doesn't think this job is done. But listen, I see a man that looks like he knows he's going. The way he's talking to the press, he's such an unlikable person. The way he comes across in his interviews, it's just so arrogant for a guy.
I mean, him squaring up to fans and cupping his ear fans. No, it's a bad look all round.
Yep. No, listen, he might still be next season. If he is, God help us. This style of football in the Champions League, God help us. He's got away with it because we've played nobodies to get to this final. I'm not knocking it. You can only beat who you. But when you're playing in the Champions League for those 8 games, Miles, you're not playing Ferencvaros and Elfsborg. You're playing proper teams across Europe. Yeah. So there'll be none of this. We're going to rest players for the league because we're playing in Europe. None of that. And I don't think he can cope. I don't think he can cope with it.
I'm not going to give us. I'm not saying that we had the hardest run in European history. I think we still had a reasonably easy route up. But in the league phase, we still had a couple of teams that were rocky. We had Roma. We had Galatasaray. They aren't easy teams. We had Rangers. Rangers are
none of them.
That is true. I forgot.
But that's my point, Miles. That's my point. Any decent team he's come up against in the Europa League, he can't beat. That's
apart
my
from
problem.
Frankfurt.
So do we now? Yeah, I mean, Frankfurt are okay, but the difference is Frankfurt with Marmouche. Go and have a look at Frankfurt, pre-Marmouche and post-Marmouche. Two completely different football teams, right? And my worry is, if he wins, listen, as I said, if he wins this Europa League, turn around and go, thank you very much. Really appreciate what you've done. Cheers, thank you. Ride off into the sunset. Be in our history books forever. Thank you. I don't trust this manager after watching him for 2 Premier League seasons that he can get to grips with the Premier League and that he actually knows how to set up a team. And the results prove me right. It doesn't matter what. My next guest is going to come on and waffle about some sort of winning mentality. We've lost 25 games this season. Miles, no one loses 25 games if they've got a good coach. No one. No one.
I absolutely I don't know if I'm coming across as an Ange In or an Ange Out. I'm very Ange Out. I don't want him to say. I do want him to say. Yeah. But anyone who says Ange is bringing a winning mentality, I'm sorry. You cannot criticize the fans one year for losing a game, for wanting to lose a game, and then also go out of your way to lose games this season,
right?
To defend for
He's a hypocrite.
Yeah, that is the biggest flip-flopping thing in football history, at least in my mind. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's a god awful coach, god awful manager, and when it comes to his media, I don't know who is teaching him or telling him to do what. Because
he needs media training badly. Like, he needs media training so much. I watch him and it's just like, oh mate, you don't represent this club well at all. He's so horrible to every reporter. Like, you know why? He's on the defensive because he knows he's done a bad job. He knows. He knows. Yeah. He can say, "Oh, in the league, it's a different story. In the league." Like, he talked to us all like we were dickheads 2 weeks ago, when he was like, "Oh, if anyone doesn't know why we've lost 20 games in the league, it's because of the Europa League." Hang on, who else has ever been in the Europa League? Who else does this and loses 21 games, 20 games of football? Last year, Bayer Leverkusen got to a Europa League final and didn't lose a single league game whilst winning the league.
That was incredible, though. That was incredible.
Sure, Atalanta last year, they lost 11 games, finished in the top 7 and got to the Europa League final. Chelsea this year are currently 4th, have got to the Conference League final, right? If all of these teams, Crystal Palace, they're sitting far above us. They've won in the FA Cup, beating better teams than we would have beaten to win the Europa, by the way. They've beaten Aston Villa and Man City to win an FA Cup. So all of this nonsense that, we can't juggle both. Shut up, mate. You said at the beginning of the season we should be challenging. He said, I don't target fourth. I don't target fourth. We should be challenging with this squad.
I want to compete.
I want to compete. He said last season, we're not playing enough games. This year, we're playing too many games. Make your mind up, mate. Like, I just can't warm
It's
to him.
backwards thinking.
I can't. But Miles, I do need to let you go, mate, because I have got bottom of the V Ben coming on. And I've got no idea what we're going to row about this week. And then people will tell me I was mean to him. And oh my gosh. Big up to you. Thanks very much, Miles. And I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, man.
And big up to my man, Strasbourg, Steve in the chat. Steve, you've changed, man. You got a girlfriend and now no one sees you on YouTube. What's happened? Are you in trouble? If you're in trouble, just put the number 2 in the comment section and we'll send some help. Big up to you, my man. Much love. And the link is pinned, by the way. There is the link. I'm putting it in again. It is pinned at the top of the page. Here he comes, the main event. Hello, Ben. How are we?
I'm okay. How are you, Savva?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
Okay, so I would like to start off my monologue by making an apology to Ange Postecoglou. The reason being is I predicted Spurs were going to draw 0-0 to Bodo Glimt, but Ange surpassed my expectations. He beat them 2-0. Bodo Glimt were going on about no one keeps clean sheets at here, like Frankfurt were. No one keeps clean sheets at her. Ange kept clean sheets at both of them, and I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to keep another clean sheet tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a scrappy 1-0 win to Spurs, and I think this would be a great moment in the story of Ange Postecoglou as a manager, because what would have he done? What would this Europa League be? Let's be frank here. This would be not just a 15-game campaign, an end of a 53-game campaign. The 38 games he did to qualify for it, and the 15 games he would have done to win it. This is make or break for Ange Postecoglou as a manager, because if he loses this, he's going to look like, I would say that I don't really like to call him a clown, but he would look terrible if he did. But if he wins it, what would he have done? He would have ended Spurs' trophy drought in 17 years. And what did he say at the beginning of the season? He didn't say he always comes fourth in the second season. He always says he always wins trophies. He always wins trophies in the second season. Sure. So if he does do that, he is definitely going to come out. I personally think he should stay, but if he does leave after winning the trophy, he'll look very good. Now, about the reason why I would stay, it's about historical evidence and factual evidence. Spurs have had world-class managers before, genuine world-class managers, Mourinho and Conte. They didn't win anything with that. Ange would have provided me evidence he can win something at Spurs. There are great managers in the world, but they would have not shown any evidence that they can win stuff at Spurs. So I would rather have like a safe.
That's very subjective, Ben. Ben,
I know it's subjective, but he would have won a Europa League. And
I'm not doubting that. By the way, everything you've said so far, I've only disagreed with one point you've made so far, which is well, I mean, that's a bit far-fetched, but it's not even that. It was the needing to apologise to a football manager. No one needs to apologise.
I was kind of being facetious.
I know, but no one needs to apologise. This man has lost 25 games this season. He should be apologising to us, if anything.
Well, I don't think. Again, I think no fan is going to be asking for him for an apology if he wins tomorrow night. Though, let's be honest here. They'll all be on the booze. They'll all be celebrating. Because I know you mentioned Crystal Palace, but if they were 17th in the league, there will still have been tears in those fans' eyes when they won the FA Cup.
Sure, but we're not Crystal Palace. That's the difference is, Ben, we're not Crystal Palace. See, let me tell you the difference between Crystal Palace and Tottenham Hotspur. Crystal Palace have done all this, bringing in a manager who's only been there 18 months, has continually lost his best players since he's been at the football club, replaces them with very good scouting, right? Upskills them, has made them better, has made them hard to beat, has made them defensively aware, and then goes and wins a trophy. We've got a manager who's had 2 full years, 4 full windows, £400 million, 17 new signings, and we look worse than we ever have. There's the huge difference between the job Glasner has done and the job that Ange Postecoglou has done. Huge
Well,
difference.
that's not entirely true because Ange
it's
lost
very
Harry
true.
Kane. No, because Ange lost Harry Kane.
He never had Harry Kane. Never had Harry Kane. Never had Harry Kane.
Glasner only had his good players for like what 3 or 4 months. That's not really a huge difference. And also,
it's a massive, but no, it's a massive difference. It's a massive difference. Glasner turns up, and for the first, by the way, it wasn't 3 or 4 months. Glasner turns up, and for 6 months, he's working, building his new team, and he's got Elise, he's got Anderson, right? He's got these players in his team. Then you get to the summer, Anderson goes back to Fulham, yeah? Elise goes to Bayern Munich, right? This year, he brings in Chalobah on loan for a year, and then Chelsea call him back unexpectedly. But not once does he complain. Not once have the Palace complained. Like our fans still talk about Harry Kane. The geezer left 2 years ago. Like, we've got to get over it. The geezer left 2 years ago. The difference for me between Glasner and Ange, Glasner's a coach, Ange is not. Ange is the manager. Glasner's a coach. Is that fair?
I would completely disagree with that as well, because again, if you would look at his historical evidence in his past clubs, if you would speak to Celtic fans, they would mention Greg Taylor, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Matt O'Reilly, Rio Hatate. Those are all players that Ange significantly improved when he was there.
Okay, but Ben, again, let's keep, we're talking Glasner and Ange at their current clubs. Yeah. One has upskilled players unbelievably, right? Look how good Palace were the other day. Look at that performance and you go, what a good coach that is. I have never watched Spurs and thought that under Ange, not once.
You did not think that when we beat Villa 4-1. You didn't think that when we beat Man City 4-0. You didn't think about that when all the times we beat Man United under Ange. You didn't think that against Frankfurt. You didn't think that against Bodo Glimt. I agree that Ange Postecoglou is very inconsistent as a manager, but I would say that there has been significant highs at his time at Tottenham.
So let me ask you something. So those games, listen, there's been great games. Villa, Man City. Like, when we look at these wins, have you noticed the one thing in common is it's always when we don't actually play his tactics. So when we actually, hang on. When we actually play Ange ball, we look an absolute wide open mess. We look chaotic. Hang on. Let me finish. Come on. Let me finish. Right. We look a wide open, chaotic mess. When we played Man City, we had a bank of 4 at the back that didn't invert. We had 3 centre mids who sat in front, and then we countered. It's not rocket science. When he does that, we look good. But the problem is every time we get one of those every 3 or 4 months, he reverts straight back to this awful style of chaotic, wide open football. And my problem with it, Ben, is he can clearly see that his style doesn't work. Hence why he's mixed it up in the Europa to get us through to save his job. But yet goes back to the Premier League and mugs us all off by doing the wide open, chaotic football again. It doesn't work.
I think it's unfair to say his tactics don't work. I would actually more say
25 defeats.
He doesn't know.
It doesn't work.
He doesn't have the players to play his tactics properly.
No.
Hansi Flick is the best. Hansi Flick, as German national manager, won 4 out of his last 17 games. Why? He didn't have his players. Amorim right now, what's happening with him? He doesn't have his players. The problem with Ange right now is we don't have the right personnel. And I actually think if he does win the Europa, because you always talk about past Spurs squad.
He's had 400 million quid.
All those past Spurs squad has what I like to call like a number one guy, a guy that's like a proper like star player. I won't use world-class player, but a star player. We don't have that right now at Tottenham because even in the bad squads, we had players like Ginola and stuff like players like that. Like even in the bad,
my man. Don't talk about the love of my life.
I think he's a great player. I think he's a great player. Like he would. I mean, you know that League Cup team, that 07-08 League Cup team. I looked at the starting 11. I generally think there are 5 players in that team that would be Spurs' best player right now if they would enter that team. I'd say Woodgate, Ledley King,
but Ben, let me ask you this:
Robbie King.
So just so I'm clear, are you telling me that the 17 players he's bought in, and the 400 million pounds he spent, and the 2 years he's had on the training ground with his team, this is the best he can coach, is to 21 league defeats?
Okay,
That's
so it's not the best he can do. He did better last season. The problem is, again, the league.
For 10 games, he did better.
When all the injured players came back, we were already 14th. The league season was already done. We had to focus on...
Ben, can we steer away from that? We disagree on that. We know we disagree with that.
We had to focus on the Europa League, and he has done that. That's why I still praise him. He had to.
Sorry, hang on, Ben. No, I'm not having this. Sorry, I'm not having this. Sorry, you make it sound like we had to concentrate on beating teams like Inter Milan, right? And Liverpool and Real Madrid. We were playing Bodo Glimt, AZ Alkmaar, Frankfurt. What do you mean we had to concentrate on the Europa League? What does that mean?
I would like to remind you, Savva, that under the previous manager, we lost to 2 championship teams back to back.
I know this, but that's not what I asked you.
You're undermining
this. Not what I asked you.
Because you're undermining these teams. Like Spurs have a God-given right to win against them.
No. We don't have a God. No. But Ben, don't change what I've said. We don't have a God-given right to beat them. But what we do have as fans, right? What we do have as fans is a right to not be losing 21 league games, right? So if the manager is throwing league games on purpose, I don't want him here. If
I don't think he's throwing games. He is prioritizing what's important and what the fans want and what the fans always said they want, which is to win trophies. Now, if fans are flip-flopping, now this is not you, but if fans are flip-flopping and before the season they say, okay, just win a trophy, doesn't matter about the league, just win something.
Not everyone said that.
Okay, so I've got a question though. Would you condemn somebody that before the start of the season said, I want to win a trophy and finish 17th, and then now are saying this is not good enough?
Yeah.
Right, and that's the problem with the Spurs fan base, is that there's too much flip-flopping. There's too much flip-flopping between I want this, but when you get it, it's like it's different.
Okay, so Ben, let me ask you this. Like, first and foremost, anyone that knows me, even the people that work with me, whatever, they'll tell you in WhatsApp groups, I don't shift from my belief, right?
I know you don't. That's why I like talking to you.
I will not tolerate 17th and 21 defeats, 20 defeats. Yeah. I will not tolerate that. That is not in my vocabulary. That is not in my mindset, right? No. You know what? If we had a bad season and we were 10th and we'd lost 13, 14 games, you might be able to turn around and go, well, it's been a shit league campaign, but fair enough. 17th, this many defeats, I can't, Ben, I can't get on board with him. Ben, this manager has had 2 years to coach this team. He's had 2 years to coach this team. It's roughly the same team as last year, give or take. He's had 2 years, and they're getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
I would need to see if this all comes down to the Europa League for me, because if he does win it, I would need to see when we have a full squad and we have got a fresh start in the league to see whether, if I would give him the first 10 games of next season. If I don't see any improvement, I'll change my position to be Ange out. And if we don't win the Europa League, I will be Ange out. But it's very hard to judge him on the back half of this season.
No, it's not,
because it's already been game.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. So whoever this is in the background, David Malone, you're not coming on. You haven't got your camera on, and you've literally just come into my private chat, called me a troll, and saying I'm giving scum a bad name. I don't understand what you're trying to achieve. Please, I'm going to kick you again out the studio. You're not coming on, mate. I don't understand why you think you can abuse me and then come onto my show. It's ridiculous. But Ben. 12, right, of his 21 league defeats this year have been when he's had an entire squad to pick from.
And
right?
But
hang on, Ben. Hang on. You jump in very quickly, right? Because the facts don't back up your point of it's hard to judge him on the back half of this season. Every manager has injuries. Every manager has adversity during a season at some point, right? Now, there's leeway when there are players out injured. There's leeway. But the problem is there are other managers that adapt. There are other managers that go, right, these players aren't available. How do I make my team harder to beat without X, Y, or Z available? Right? And Ange didn't do that. Now, here's an example. When Bournemouth did it, Bournemouth won, I think it was 11 in 14 or 12 in 15 league games, right? something like that. It was 11 and 15 in all competitions, right? They had 9 players out injured. But you know what? They had a well-organised team that was well-drilled, that wasn't wide open, wasn't exposed. So the players coming in, were they as good as the players they were replacing? No. But they knew the system they were going into. They were hard to beat. They were well-drilled. They were defensively sound. The problem is, Ange played the same way, knowing that players weren't available. And the problem you've got, Ben, that makes your theory completely wrong is, as I said, if I show you the last 65 games of him as Premier League manager, 65 games as Premier League manager, yeah, he has lost more than half of those 65 games. Now, whichever way you want to spin that, whichever way it's, oh, he needs next year and he needs these players to be fit, 65 games and he's lost over 50% of them. That's not right. That means he can't adapt. That means he can't coach, right? He has lost so many games when Van de Ven and Romero have played together, right? But all I hear is when Van de Ven and Romero are fit, right? All I heard was when Solanke was out. Oh, but Solanke's missing. Solanke's been back for months and done the square root of nothing.
Well,
right?
He scored in the Europa League, though.
Yeah,
he scored a few goals. But that's the thing. And that's
Ben, sure, he scored a penalty and a tapping in the Europa League.
But the Ange's mentality is different from other fan bases, where Ange is that anything but winning is not acceptable in terms of trophies. The problem is, again, in the league, we were 14th when the players came back. We were out of contention of a title. He wants to win trophies, so he's going to focus on that. I want a manager like that, and I don't mind if I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. If we focus, because, right, again, 17 years out of a trophy, 17 years without a trophy. We need to win. We need to at least stop the rot and win win at least one trophy every season. That's what we need to do, and that's.
So can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? First of all, Ben, absolutely spot on. It's not black or white. Concentrating on the Europa League doesn't mean losing 21 games in a season. As my man Roy Keane said. Now, you talk about winning mentality. Ben, you talk about winning mentality. No one's got a better winning mentality than this man. Look at him. This is a born and bred winner. Saying absolute disgrace how Man U and Spurs couldn't balance the league and the Europa League. Absolutely agree with him. Second of all, Ben, let me ask you this. Let's say he stays. Cool. We don't know. Let's say he stays because he wins the Europa League. Do you truly believe, after the 2 years you've seen of this manager, after the performances you've seen, after you've seen his absolute stubborn and unwillingness to change in Premier League games, do you truly, truly believe that just because we win the Europa League, suddenly he starts coaching us better next season? Do you truly believe that?
Yeah, there is historical evidence to basically suggest that Ange can take teams quite far forward from bad league seasons. He did that at Brisbane Roar and he did that at Yokohama. In Brisbane Roar, the previous
in
season,
poor leagues. We're talking about the Premier League now.
Hang on.
We're talking about the Premier League.
This previous season with Brisbane Roar, before he won the championship, he had his team second bottom. He then launched his team up to win the whole thing. At Yokohama, he had his team well down in the bottom half, fighting for relegation. Sure. The next season, he went on to win it. Again, I've seen historical evidence.
But you can't do that in the Premier League, can you, Ben? This is the point. You're talking about leagues where you can be bottom one year and win it the next. You don't do that in the Premier League.
Chelsea basically launched up from 10th to 1st one season. Leicester launched up from 16th to 1st one season.
Yes,
it can be done. It's not impossible. In Serie A, Napoli, look at Napoli. They're flying. They've run 10th for 1st.
I agree. Ben.
But it can be done. I need to see.
Okay, so now can you answer my question? I want you to answer my question tactically. For once, please stop telling me what he's done in poor leagues. I don't care what he's done in these poor leagues, okay? We are football fans of an English club in the Premier League. I'm asking you, what changes? I'm asking you, what does he do differently to set up Spurs next season, if he's still manager, to stop us being so wide open and everyone beating us for fun? What does he do tactically to stop that, in your opinion?
I mean, I'm unfortunately, I don't have my coaching badges, so my tactical knowledge is probably not that strong. But the thing is, though, the reason why I don't like talking about tactics is because I know even managers I don't rate, I would not be able to hold a conversation with them tactically because they know a lot more than me. And I think a lot of these fans need to realize.
But it's not rocket science, is it, Ben? Ben, as a football fan, let me ask you, as a football fan, please try and be honest. Forget Ange In, Ange Out. As a football fan right now, bias glasses off. When you watch Spurs play in the Premier League, what do you think? Be brutally honest with me. Tell me what you see.
I see a team playing a pre-season friendly, quite frankly.
Not for 38 games. Hang on, no, that's not an answer.
It is, because it's a pre-season friendly. It doesn't matter. We were out of contention when the players all got injured. Then we were.
You're not answering my question.
Ben, you're doing when you came back.
Ben, you're brilliant at this.
Out of contention.
Ben, you're brilliant at this. I'm going to try once more. Otherwise, this conversation is pointless, right? I'm asking you objectively, when you watch Tottenham, I'm not talking about this month. I'm not talking about, we've down tools for the Europa. When you watch Spurs play in the Premier League all year under Ange Postecoglou, what is it you look and see?
I've seen him batter some teams. I saw him at the start of the season beat Everton 4-0. I saw him beat Villa 4-1.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
Smash Man United 3-0.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
I've seen him making a semi-final and final.
You're not Ben. Try and please answer my question, mate. This is really hard work.
I'm pointing out games. I'm pointing out achievements.
Ben, I'm not asking you to give me a blow by blow of who we've beaten and who we've lost to. I know all that. I've got a bloody Spurs YouTube channel. I don't need a blow by blow of who we've beaten and who we haven't. I've got the data. I've got more data than you can imagine. I am asking you, when you watch Spurs play on the pitch tactically, let me put this another way. When I watch Spurs tactically play football, we are a wide open, chaotic mess that other teams now know what to do against us. They open us up for fun time and time again. We are open in the fullback areas every game. We have no defensive midfielder protecting the back two every game. You have a high line every game, right? You have a midfield that seems to have no set position every game. This is what I'm talking about, Ben. So I'm asking you the question. I'm asking to all Ange In fans. I keep hearing he must stay if he wins the Europa League. But I've seen enough evidence over the last 19, 20 months in the league to show me that, yes, good cup run, but yes, you're terrible in the league. Is that not fair to say, Ben, that the last 19 months has been truly horrific in the league? Is that not fair factually?
Again, there was some genuine positives, especially at the start of this season before the players all got injured. I saw some. It
was our worst start to a season for 17 years.
I'm talking about the performances, not the results. We were genuinely smashing some teams and only winning. And then all the players got injured. Then the players came back. The league was already done and dusted. We had to adapt and focus on the Europa League. We had to. It's that simple. And yeah, that is why we're where we're at right now.
Ben, I think the problem is why we're never going to agree is for everything you do, right? For everything you say, there is an excuse for everything. If we said this year we lost 15 games rather than 12 last year due to injuries, I could almost go, God, it's bad, but Europa League final. 21 defeats, Ben. There are no excuses for hang on, let me finish. There are no excuses for a man that's had this team for 2 years. Yeah. For a man that said at the beginning of the year that we should be challenging. For a man that said he's happy with his squad. Right. There is no excuses for losing 21 league games of football. Right. So the Man United fans, hang on. The Man United fans they're at war. They've lost about 18? Right. Man United are at war with their club because their fans don't tolerate losing 18 games of football.
I wouldn't say they're at war. I mean, they're not storming the stadium.
Let me finish.
Do not exaggerate. They're not at war. They might be slightly annoyed. They're not at war. They're not storming the stadium.
I think our fans are much more on Ange's case than United fans on Amarin's. Yeah, but I hadn't finished my point. I've not spoken to one Man United fan that excuses losing 18 games. Every Man United fan I speak to is going, that's disgusting. We're Man United. We've got Tottenham fans like you, excuse after excuse after excuse for losing 21 league games, Ben. He has lost 9 more league games than last season. That is atrocious, right?
Can I
This
respond to
manager also has the worst ever point per game ratio in the club's history in the Premier League. That is unacceptable. Cup or no cup, that is disgusting, right?
I don't think it's the worst ever. His is like 1.4. I think there are people lower than that. In total,
Ben,
the game is 1.4.
I'm going to show you something, Ben, and you're going to look silly, Ben.
1.4, isn't it? In
Ben,
total, it's
there
1.4.
you go. Have a look.
Yeah, but if you no, because what you'd have to do is you'd have to combine both seasons, and it would be
No.
around
I said this
1.4.
season. No, Ben.
You
No.
You said you didn't say this season. You said
No, I didn't. I said this season. This is all Ben. Don't do this, Ben.
And also,
I said Ben. No, Ben.
Because
I said
you said something. You basically said no. His is 1.4. It's higher than a lot of managers on that list. Remember also,
Ben, I said this season. I was listing this season's stats and data. If you listen, I said this. Let me finish. Fucking hell, mate. Let me finish. Ben, let me finish. Let me finish now. Right? This is what you do. This is what you do. You're turning into shut up. Let me finish.
Or Eddie. I remember Eddie, that guy that debated you.
Right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do this. I put him on mute because this is just. Every time fans like Ben are confronted with evidence, there's an excuse. Every time. It doesn't matter if I've got a mountain of evidence. There is an excuse for everything. There is an excuse for everything. He says, injuries. 12 of the games we lost this year, we had a full squad to pick from. Why did we lose all 12 of those games? Right? These are the things where people don't look. But they don't look and use. It's easy to say injuries. So, last year, Newcastle had a horrendous injury crisis. Horrendous. Still finished 7th or 8th, didn't they? We're finishing 17th, right? I'm going to show you this again, and I'm going to go back to what I said before you called me a liar. I was talking about this season. This season, this manager has our worst ever points per game ratio. 1.06 across a 38-game season. By the way, it's actually 1.02 now. That was before the Aston Villa game. If Ange Postecoglou loses to Brighton, he has got a 1 point per game ratio over an entire season. I'm going to show you something else, Ben, because again, you don't listen. Look at that. This is every season, Ben. See, this is the thing. I come prepared. You don't know the club history. Every season since we got promoted back from the old Division 2 in 1978. So anyone old enough will know we got relegated in 77. We came up in 78. This is every season since. Have a look at Ange's stats there. This is the lowest ever league finish.
Am I allowed to respond at any point?
No. Hang on.
Am I allowed to respond?
I'm going. This is...
You're monologues for like 5 minutes. Like, what's the point?
It's my channel. It's my channel, Ben.
You say
it's my channel, Ben. I get to do monologues for 5 minutes.
Okay, why don't you bring in 1991 when we won 2 games during our FA Cup run? Why didn't you bring up that? Why don't you bring up...
Hang on. You do realise all of that data is here.
Right.
You do realise.
Hang on, Savva. When does the FA Cup start? It starts for January for our teams. Between the third round and the final, we won 2 games, 2 whole games in the league. We were focusing on the cup then, focusing on the cup now, and this is going to be a great season if we win. And Ben,
that season we didn't finish 17th, did we? We finished 10th.
I'm talking about when the FA Cup started and when they ended. And our league form was diabolical.
So we're now picking and choosing. We're now picking and choosing sections.
Nonsense. In terms of an Amorim, right?
No, we're not talking about Amorim. We're not. No. Don't do that.
You were like, oh, Man United's league. It was been under.
No. Hang on. Excuse me.
The game to 0.9.
Ben, I haven't finished what I'm saying.
And no,
Ben, I haven't finished what I'm saying. We're not talking about Ruben Amorim.
You brought up Man United. I
didn't bring up Man United.
You did.
Ben!
You literally did. You said their fans are at war. They're going to war.
Sorry, I put him on mute again because, again, he's doing this thing he does. I didn't mention Man United in this phase of the conversation. So, Ben, I'm going to bring you back in. Let me land my point. This is the difference. You come to a gunfight with a dagger, mate. I come with all the big guns and the facts. This is the difference between me and you, Ben. I don't live off copium. I don't make excuses for losing 21 games. Your hero, the guy you first came on months ago and said to me, Savva, we're going to hit the bottom of the V. Right? Every time you come on, I ask you, where's the bottom of this V? And I never seem to get an answer. Now, let me finish what I was saying. Here, this is factual proof. This is the lowest number of league wins in any season, unless he beats Brighton. Right? This is the most number of defeats in all of those seasons, other than in 91-92, when it was a 42-game season and we lost 20 games. This is the lowest number of points of any of those seasons. This is the lowest number of points we would have had in 46 years, 47 years, 46 years. This is the lowest league finish we're going to have in 46, 47 years. These are facts. You can try and argue your way out of them with what nonsense this manager did at Yokohama, what he did at Celtic, what he did in Australia. I don't care. I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan, Ben.
Okay,
I am a Spurs fan. I am a Spurs fan. I am a Spurs fan. I'll let you respond when I've finished. Right? I am a Spurs fan. I do not give a flying fuck what this manager did in Japan. I don't care. I don't care what he did in a one-team league in Scotland. I don't.
It's not a one-team league. It's not a one-team league. They had a 25-point deficit before the season.
Celtic have won about
24-point deficit. By the way, if you want to talk about competitive league, the Japanese league is a very competitive league, and he did win that.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
In 15
it's
years.
just as competitive as the Premier League, isn't it?
By the way, Savva, you know all those seasons you mentioned. I hate to break it to you. The lion's share of them, we won absolutely diddly squat. That is what I'm concerned with.
That's not what
we've never been
you
a
said.
league team. We've always been a cup team, and just taking us back to our glory days, our successful days as a cup team.
And just taking us back to our glory days.
Yeah, when we were winning the cups. We haven't had a good league season along with a good cup season since like 1983. We've always been a cup team.
Love it. Is that a challenge? Is that a challenge?
Not a challenge, it's a fact. It's a fact.
No.
No.
We were bottom
half in 1999.
Ben, if you want to come with facts, know your facts. Know your facts if you're going to come with facts. Let me remind you.
Are you saying our league form in 2008 was good? No, we were bottom half.
Let me remind you. Let me remind you, because you're lying.
You've got such a. By the way, this is the exact problem with Spurs fans and why Spurs.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I said a league form was bad.
I'm about to bring something up that's going to show you don't know our club or you're lying. One of the two.
I don't know.
You can admit which one it is now. Do you not know the club or are you a liar? Which one?
I'm neither of them. I'm very truthful. I'm factual.
No, you're one of them, mate. You're one of them. I'm going to show you why. Here we go. Spurs have not mixed a good league run with good cup runs.
With a cup win. Oh god, no! I booked cup win. Sorry, cup win.
Cup win.
Yes, cup win. Yes, I misspoke. Cup win.
Oh, now I'm about to prove you wrong. It's changed. I get it.
I misspoke. Trophy. Yeah, because I cup win and basically a good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but are you saying that's wrong? You're saying when was the last time we had a good league?
I don't know. You keep changing your argument.
You keep changing your argument. Which one is it? I made a mistake. It's called making. I admitted I made a mistake. That's simple. Yeah, I basically mistaken making a mistake. I love how you think, I bet, I basically called someone a slipper like it's a big deal. It's ridiculous.
No. I just find it funny that you come on and you factually said Spurs don't combine good cup runs with good league finishes.
Cup wins. Right? I meant cup wins. I meant cup wins. I basically because I
don't know what you mean. Your tongue is so far up Ange's arsehole. I have no idea what you mean.
Now you're going to insult me because I dare to actually.
I'm not insulting you. It's a fact.
Oh, you are definitely.
Here you go. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at all of Spurs' terrible seasons that Ange is better than. Right? Are you ready?
Right.
Let's have a look.
I mean, all I see is
hang on. No. Let me talk.
Not a lot of cup wins.
Let me talk. Oh my God, Ben.
2010, 2011, 2012, 2014. Loss.
Let me talk, for crying out loud, man. Right? You said Spurs don't combine the two. Well, the last time we won a trophy, we didn't finish 17th. We finished 11th.
Is that really a big deal to you? Like, we finished.
Shut up and let me talk.
You are grasping at straws here at this point.
Let me fucking talk.
Okay.
Ben, shut up, for God's sake, please. Every time I try and bring up evidence and talk, you just start going into a rant. It is impossible. It is impossible. You Ange Inners hate being wrong. You hate it. This
Again,
is
I've
our
already
worst.
admitted that I'll say I'm wrong if we don't win tomorrow. I'll say I'm wrong. I'll be Ange out. But
We're 17th. We're 17th in the league.
I don't think you don't know how the rules work, Savva, because basically there's no rule in the Europa League that says, oh well, if you perform badly in the league, you don't qualify for the Champions League. We're still qualifying for the Champions League if we win it, regardless of our league position.
Sorry, I don't know the rules.
Well, clearly not, because you're underestimating the fact that this would be deemed good enough. But
Ben,
I don't make the rules.
in your mind,
I think the experts know more than me. So when it's considered a good enough season to qualify for the Champions League. Last season we didn't qualify for the Champions League, we qualified for Europa. The season before we didn't qualify for Europa at all. That is progression in my mind.
Okay, so now am I allowed to speak and actually get to one of my points?
Well, I mean, you did monologue for 10 minutes, so glass houses.
Ben, you have not shut up for about the last 3 slides I brought up and I'm trying to talk about. You don't let me talk.
You literally allow yourself like 8 minutes and then give me like 8 seconds to respond.
Shut up. Ben, in any season when Spurs have won something, we've never been the last team before the 3 relegated teams. Right?
Come on. So 11 is a big deal. So basically,
oh my God, let me talk. Oh my God, let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. For crying out loud, let me talk on my own show for 1 minute.
Oh, come on. You talked for like 10 minutes before and you...
Fuck's sake, this is impossible. I'm trying to talk around what you said. Last time Tottenham won a trophy in 2008, right? Tottenham Hotspur lost 14 games, not 21, right? 14, not 21, got 46 points, not 38, and finished 11th. Ange can't even match 11th. Ange has us in 17th in the league. It is utterly, utterly embarrassing. How are fans not embarrassed by this? You are acting, you and the other Ange In fans are acting like we are a promoted club that are trying to stay up. We are Tottenham fucking Hotspur. We are not a small club.
Anything in 17 years. A club that...
I'm going to continue talking. Sorry, he's not cutting me off this time, right? You fans are acting like we're a small club. I am sick to death of it, right? Now, to your other point where you got it completely wrong, have a look at these. Look at these seasons. You can all see this, people, right? Third, right? Third, second, third. Both those 2 years, we got to a semi-final of a tournament. Both those 2 years when we finished second in the league and third in the league, we managed to go on cup runs, get into the semi-final of those tournaments. I didn't see anyone in those years saying, let's throw the league games so that we can concentrate on the Champions League. Let's throw the league games so we can concentrate on the League Cup. Let's throw the league games so we can concentrate on the FA Cup. This is just nonsense. This is embarrassing. We are 17th in the league, and fans like you are finding excuses at every turn. Fans like you at the beginning of the season were telling me how good a coach he was. You told me, you and all your Ange In fans all said how good he was, how good a coach he was. But we're going to finish third. We're going to finish fourth. This guy's going to coach us well. Watch how we change. Watch what he does to this team as we're getting worse and worse and worse and worse by every single league game. We are getting worse. And every game, there is an excuse. And everyone makes out that this Europa League run, we've been playing proper top opposition that we had to rest players for. We haven't played anyone of note. We didn't need to rest players. No club does this every season. No club. Chelsea are going into a final of a competition. Betis are in a final of a competition. They're not resting players every week in the league, right? They're not. PSG are not resting their players every league game, right? This is ridiculous. It's only us that do it to give fans like you an excuse to why your manager has done such an appalling job at Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay, so can I respond now again?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay, so first of all, I think you're bigging up we are Tottenham Hotspur, we are Tottenham Hotspur. Well, Swansea have won a trophy more recently than us. Leicester have won a trophy more recently than us. Pretty sure Portsmouth have won a trophy more recently than us. Wigan have won a trophy more recently than us, and Crystal Palace have just won a trophy. We haven't won when we last won the league and wasn't born yet. To big Tottenham up with this massive killing club. No, we're not Man
Who said
United.
that?
We're not Chelsea.
said
No,
that?
you were like, we're Tottenham Hotspur. We're a big club.
Yeah.
We're not a big club. We're not a big club. We haven't won in 17 years. We haven't won the league since 1962. We are not the big club that you think we are. What we are.
Whoa. So how big do you think I think we are? Before you tell another lie, how big do you think I think we are?
Well, you keep comparing us to Man United, so you clearly think that we won the pedigree
Sorry,
that we
so-
have.
excuse-
You
whoa,
do,
whoa,
you
whoa,
keep
whoa,
bringing
whoa.
up Man United. And by
I
the way, it was
keep
so
comparing
funny.
us to Man United.
Yeah, you're like, no, because when
You
you
mean
say,
this season?
and you made a video titled "We can't repeat Man United's mistake by sacking Ten Hag."
Yes.
Like we're at all level with them. No, Man United are a much bigger club with winning pedigree than we are.
Sure.
So you can't make ridiculous comparisons like that, Savva. And I think this
Of
is the
course I
problem with
can.
Spurs fans. Spurs fans think that we
Of
should
course I
be winning
can.
the quadruple
Why can't
every
I? Explain
you
why I
think we're gonna
can't
win
use the 10
quadruple every-
comparison.
You think we're going to win the quadruple every year? We're not going
Who
to win
do-
it. We need to.
Who
What we
does?
need to do is stop the rot.
Okay,
and
everyone, here's how Ben's lied. Here's how Ben has lied again. He's full of shit, this lad. I can prove it at every turn. There was my prediction at the beginning of the season. Tottenham Hotspur, I don't believe I predicted us to win the quadruple. I said 7th. And I got dog's abuse from fans like you. I got dog's abuse for predicting 7th. Oh, you don't know, Ange. Ange will have us higher up the league. So don't come on my show and lie. I think we're going to win quadruples. What a load of fucking nonsense that is.
Okay, well, Savva,
I'll call you out if you say dumb shit. That's the way I work. If you don't like me, people don't like it, they can go.
You get basically the same amount of trophies from finishing 17th as you do 7th, which is exactly
That's
0.
That's
But
not
it is the
in
point. It is the
question.
point. The point of football is to
It's
win
not the point.
trophies. And I'm not going to get motivated by
you go to
basically
the game?
finishing. I've seen my team finish 4th lots of times. I'm not motivated.
Do
by
you
that.
go
I
to
want to see my
games?
team win the trophy. Do I go to games?
Do you
No.
go to games?
No.
Okay. So now let's remove me and you. Do you think all of those Spurs fans with season tickets, deserve to be watching us lose week in, week out at our own ground because we might win a trophy at the end of the season? Is that okay?
I think if we win the Europa League trophy, those fans are going to have tears in their eyes. They're going to be emotional, and they're going to be rubbing it into the Arsenal fans' faces next season. That's what I think.
Rubbing what into their faces? That they're in the Champions League year in, year out, and they're finishing
and we would
second
be in
in
the
the league.
Champions League as well, and we would have won a trophy, whereas the Arsenal under Arteta can't seem to get it over the line.
Sure,
Arteta, by
as
the way,
they're
had three
playing in an elite tournament against elite teams.
Arteta, 3 Europa Leagues, none of them he won, including against Villarreal.
I'm not praising Arteta.
Who didn't. Olympiacos got smashed by Bodo Glimt, who you think apparently are walkovers.
Ben, you're going off on a tangent. I've not
I'm
said anything.
I'm talking facts.
Ben, you're going off on a tangent. I don't care what Arsenal did in the Europa League. I couldn't give a crap. I'm talking about. Hang on, Ben. I'm talking about if you as a fan think it's okay to finish 17th in any scenario, cool. We're very different in terms of our mentality.
And if you think a 17-year trophy drought is okay, then we're very different in mentality.
Right. Hang on. Again, no. You don't get to do that. Again, you're a fucking liar. Who said that?
Well,
when did I say that?
So, well, I mean, you said to the Hotspur hippie that you love Pochettino and he went 5 years without a trophy, but then you said something different to me. You said to me that you didn't love Poch, but you said to Hotspur hippie that you did love Poch. So when you call me a liar, you've said two different things to two different people.
Whoa. Slow, Ben, you've got to slow down. You don't know my...
You said one thing to the Hotspur hippie and one thing to me. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. But which one? Who did you lie to? Did you lie to me or did you lie to the Hotspur hippie?
So Ben, because I've caught you out, you're bringing something different up. Ben, when did I say it was okay to not win a trophy? Ben, I'm asking you a question.
You said it implicitly.
Shut up. Let me ask the question. This is the way the show works. I ask you questions, you answer them. Stop interrupting me every time I open my mouth. When did I say it was acceptable to not win a trophy for 17 years? Tell me the name, the time, and the place. Go.
Is implicit with your anti-Ange sentiment and your anti-Ange statement because you want him sacked regardless of whether he ends in the trophy drought or not. That shows me that you don't have a trophy winning mentality implicitly, not explicitly. You can say things implicitly and you can say things explicitly. You said it implicitly.
Ben, first of all, we talked about this fucking gobbledygook nonsense that you come out with. I say things in fact. Ben, I say things in fact.
You're much more about feelings than you actually think, by the way.
Ben, let me talk. You've got to let me talk. You're doing my head in, mate. Don't tell people I think it's acceptable to not win for 17 years if I didn't say it. Right? Let me talk For fuck's sake, let me talk, Ben.
Can I just say, I mean, I'm basically
No,
I'm not saying
no, let me talk. You have just lied and said that I think it's acceptable to not win a trophy for 17 years. I have never, ever said that. There is a reason why I am Daniel Levy out, right? There is a reason for those things. So never come on my show and lie about me ever again, or that'll be the last time you come on. Secondly, me not liking Ange is not indicative of me accepting not winning trophies. Me not liking Ange is because I've never seen my team look this bad ever. Me not liking Ange is in my lifetime of supporting Tottenham, I've never known us to lose regularly every week like we do under this manager. If he wins this trophy, I've said it, we've got to win it. We have to win it. But then thank you very much. See you later. Let's get in a coach who can drive us forward. So don't you dare tell me I think 17 years is acceptable. There is a reason I will not give Daniel Levy a penny, because it's unacceptable. So don't come on my show with your, oh, it's implied and it's implicit and it's indicative. Fuck you. Don't do that to me, right? Don't do that to me.
So the reason why I say it's implicit is not just solely because of your Ange hate, but also because your praise for managers like Pochettino and Redknapp, who basically combined did 8 seasons and didn't win anything. If you have that mentality of winning trophies, you should have been calling for those managers to be out. But what you're doing is you're calling for the manager that has won that could win a trophy and you think is going to win a trophy out of the club. That is where I don't think you've got that right trophy winning mentality. And that is why I made the statement.
Okay, so Ben, so let's have this right. So after Pochettino did fail to win that Champions League and things did start to go downhill, I was Pochettino out. So there's your first lie again, that I should have been calling for these guys to go. I did want
After 5 years of not winning a trophy.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Lee Garner would have been him out after 2 seasons, by the way.
Let me finish. Oh my fucking God.
Do you want me to go? Like,
yeah, I'd love you to fuck right off now.
By the way, can I just say, have a very, very good evening, by the way.
See you later, you're a prick. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. Sorry, dude. You've been very patient. Sorry. I can't have liars on my show. I can't have people coming on my show telling people what I didn't say.
Yeah, completely understandable.
I can't have it. I can't have him telling people that I've said 17 years without a trophy is unacceptable. Is acceptable. Yeah. I've not said that. Sorry, dude. You're Man United, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm all good apart from my football team. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like this final, I mean, what can I say? Like, this is probably the 2 worst English teams that we've ever had in a final. So, yeah, like, obviously you have got onto Ange for like not adapting enough, but my manager does the same thing. That's what my manager's been doing as well. So, like, there's 2 coaches that haven't been able to adapt with the players that they already got at their disposal, and that's why I'm with the same feeling with some Tottenham fans and with some United fans that even if Amorim wins a trophy or not, he should go, because long term I don't think he's good enough for the job, because he doesn't adapt like Ange Postecoglou does. He doesn't adapt with the players that he has, and I just hate this term of football when everyone says, "Oh, this manager hasn't got these specific players in every single position and this and that." I just hate that. Because your job, even if you don't have your own players, is to coach. Like, I've seen my manager get outclassed by Graham Potter, who plays the same like formation, who plays the same system and plays the same tactics and stuff. Like, I've seen him get outclassed by Graham Potter. I've seen him get outclassed by Glasner. You know what I'm saying? So, like, regardless, he needs to go because he's not good enough. So, yeah.
So let me ask you though. I mean, these players that he's got were terrible under Ten Hag as well. At what point do the Man United fans turn around and go, yeah, these players aren't good? I get it, right? And people are going to call me a hypocrite now, but Ange Postecoglou's had 17 of his own players, £400 million and 2 years. Your manager's had one left back come into the club, and he's playing with Ten Hag's players. And let's be fair, he's going to be looking at your forward line going, this is blunt, I need to change this. He's going to be looking at your central midfield going, this is old, I need to change this in terms of Casemiro, for example. And he's going to be looking at your back four going, I need a leader in this team. I get it. It's not good enough for Man United. Completely get it. You're as bad as we are. But doesn't he need at least one summer to work on this squad, to buy his own players in, and to actually have time to get it into them?
I don't think he did. I know they are Ten Hag players, but I don't think he deserves it, because like Amarim's not the first manager to have not to have like his own players. Like every manager that comes in a situation isn't going to have their own players. Like I remember under Louis van Gaal, that under Louis van Gaal, when he didn't have his own players, he played the youth academy, he played other players in place, he played the youth, you get me, he played the youth. Amarim hasn't really consistently tried to play the youth. Like for example, like he contradicts himself, because for example he talks about like, oh, Mainu's not good defending in the pivot, but then plays him in the pivot. He plays Harry Maguire. He says Harry Maguire isn't good with space around him, but he plays Harry Maguire in a high line. These are the things.
But do you not think? Listen, I'm just going to play devil's advocate again. Look, I don't have a dog in the fight for Man United, right? But don't you think though that when the Man United board hired Ruben Amorim, they saw how he played, they saw what he needs, and they knew what his tactics were, and that's the reason you hired him. So if you're going to bring in a guy that you know plays a certain way, then don't you give him the players to play that way? Like, surely he needs, I get it, this year's not been good enough for you. And to be fair, what I like about your fans' attitude compared to half of my fan base is, even if you guys win the Europa League, you guys are embarrassed because this has been a shit season. Right? Our fans are sitting there going, oh, this is the greatest manager we've ever had, it's amazing. And I'm like, what? And that's the difference between our two clubs, right? Is our fans, for me, have got no mentality. But what I would say is, if you get him, if he gets Cunha, right? If he gets 3 or 4 more Cunha types across the pitch, you're going to see a different Man United, because that front three you've got, that front three, if it's Garnacho, Xerxes, Højlund, though, that's not a Man United front three. Those three should not be starting week in, week out for Man United. Maybe as backup players, maybe coming on. But this guy's used to having people like Gonçalves, Trincao, Gyökeres. This guy's used to having senior pros that have been there, seen it and done it. And that Man U, he's kind of got this half-baked squad that isn't quite good enough, in my opinion. Obviously, look, Amarim not the only one to blame, but he hasn't helped himself. Like, Ineos have a lot to blame for this as well, because they should have sacked Ten Hag at the start of the season, and then they should have brought in a manager. But like, when you also see his stats, like, because I think it was from, obviously he came in November, Amarim, but from December he's only managed, from December to now, he's only managed to pick up 9 points, I think, in the Premier League. 9 points in the Premier League. Like that is not good enough. Man United, for the first time as well, won't win back-to-back games in the Premier League. At least under Ten Hag, it wasn't great under Ten Hag, but Ten Hag actually won back-to-back games once with Manchester United. He won the last 2 games of the season. But this manager hasn't managed
to win back to back games. And I just want a manager to be able to adapt. I want managers to try to try things. I don't want the same. I don't want the same manager doing the same thing on repeat, on repeat.
I agree, but the problem is, mate, you bought in Amorim knowing how he plays. This is the thing. So surely the board here have to say, well, hang on, we bought this guy in. Amorim would have said to them when he joined, this is what I need, right? And I'm guessing he's going to get some of that in the summer. Look, I think, listen, it's not been good enough. It's not been good enough. Absolutely. It's been shambolic. You're where we are, right? 16th and 17th in the league is an absolute embarrassment. Difference is we got fans like Ben who aren't embarrassed by it. We've got fans like Ben that make excuses for why we're 17th and they think that's okay, right? Yeah. The difference for you guys, I think he's got to have a summer, because otherwise, and listen, this will be the last bit before I get the next guest on, otherwise I'm going to run over time. The other thing is, if you get rid of Amorim, you got another manager coming in that's still got the same squad from when Ten Hag was here. What does that manager do? Does that manager get 6 months? Then he's sacked as well. At what point are you guys going to go, it's the squad? At what point are we going to say it's not good enough, it's the squad?
Like I know these players haven't been great. Like I know these. Obviously, I think at the start of the season I predicted United to finish sixth or seventh, because I think last season we finished eighth on the Ten Hag. Like but the thing is that like I get that obviously when you bring in players that improve the team, you naturally are going to improve. Like say if Amorim brings in 5 or 6 players and we go from 16th to 6th, yes, it is an improvement, but I look at it also saying that we shouldn't be 16th or 17th in the first place. And the reason why I say that he should have got better out of the players that we already have, even though they are not great, because I've seen it with Ten Hag, and I've seen it with other coaches, that when when the board brings in players, like when the board brings in players and three or like my theory is basically like if we bring in like under Ten Hag, we brought in like 5. I think it was in his second season we brought in like five players, and 3 of them got injured. And he wasn't able to play his style of play because he had 3 of his own players out of the 5 that he signed. So I need to see a manager that can adapt with or without injuries. Guess the thing, because he's not going to have every single player every single game. You're going to have injuries But let me
ask you, very last thing. My thing is, I look at Man United's forwards, and I don't think it matters which manager you drop in here. I don't know how you're scoring goals. So, like, when you came to White Hart Lane and you played us, we beat you 1-0. You had something like 19 chances, but couldn't finish your dinner. I watched you the other week against Wolverhampton Wanderers. You had so many chances. Like, you were actually playing well. You had chances, couldn't finish your dinner. I watched you against Chelsea the other night. I thought you actually did some good things. Couldn't finish your dinner. So I think if you give this man Cunha, you give him another striker to go up there with him, you give him a bit more in the wing back areas, I think you're not going to be bad. But listen, dude, I want to thank you for your patience. Sorry about all the swearing. Actually,
no problem. I get it. I completely get it.
Thank you very much for calling in. And listen, I'm sure I'll speak to you again after the final.
Yeah. I will come. I will obviously call back in. The best of luck in the final. You know what I'm saying. And people smash up the like, because Savva takes a lot of time throughout the day, you know, to give us some great content. So yeah, like, thanks for having me on, Savva.
No, you're more than welcome at any time. Thank you very much. Cheers,
Thank
bro.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
I've got Paul, and then I've got Swan X coming on, and then I've got a live watch along starting in 25 minutes. I'm knackered. Paul, apologies for my language that my mother would have put a bit of soap in my mouth and made me go to bed without any dinner for that type of language. Sorry. It's why I do these shows. How are you, my friend? You're on mute, mate. You're on mute. Just quickly, you're on mute.
I always do that. I'm
Me
right,
too,
mate, you?
every day. Yeah, man, I'm good. Listen, I'm good. Listen, that's just how I get when I talk. I'm good. I'm good. I just don't like the lies about me. I don't like the, oh, you think it's so. No. I'm live every day, Paul. People can see my opinions without lying about it, right?
Yeah, and I see that every day. You know, like you see people always accusing you of being negative and everything else. I'm like, how can you call this guy negative? He's just stating facts. It's just
People don't
pure
want
facts.
But I have a look, Paul. I mean, we'll go to what you want to talk about in a minute, but it didn't matter what evidence I present. There's an excuse for it. We're 17th with 21 defeats. For me, there should be nothing that can come out of anyone's mouth that I go, actually, good point. We're 17th, 21 league defeats. It is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
In all my time as a Spurs fan, this is the worst I've ever seen us play in the league. Now, I know we've never really been a league team, but we do normally compete in the league.
Yeah.
We normally have a good run and stuff like that. Yeah, we might. I think the lowest we finished is 15th since, and that was a bit of an off season, but we've never lost 21 games. And the games we've been losing have just been shocking. I just can't understand it. And then you go to Europa League and they play totally different. And it's like, why are we not doing that in the league? Can someone tell me why we're not playing those tactics in the league when they clearly work?
Do you know the funny thing about it is in 20 seasons, this is when people say to me, like people like that Ben saying to me, oh, we never have good cup runs with good leagues campaigns. In the last 20 years, we finished outside the top 10 once. This will be twice this year. And in those 20 years, we've got something like 14 semi-finals, 7 finals. So this notion that we've never been able to be up there in the league and do well in cups, I think these people are just making up. They're just making up. They don't know the history of Spurs. They're just making it up. And the fact that he's having to go to 1991 when we won the FA Cup to talk about how many points we took between January and May. It's really, really odd that we're having to drop back to 1991 to try and make Ange sound like he's doing better than he is.
I don't get it for me. And for me, this season, I was a bit hit and miss with it anyway. Even when we qualified for the Europa, I thought, well, we'll do well. We might hit the quarterfinals. I've never been fully Ange in, but I've never been fully Ange out. For me, he lost me when he started disrespecting the fans that were paying to go and see him.
Agreed.
That's when he lost me. When he started disrespecting the fans, I was like, you could win the league for all I care now, and I still want you gone. Because for me, once you lose the respect to the fans, the people that are paying your wages, then it's time to go.
Do you know what? I completely agree. I think that the difficult thing that I have with this guy is it's all their evidence, what he said last season, right? It's all their evidence. He was annoyed at our winning mentality because there was a select few that wanted to lose to City. Not everyone did. I didn't. Some did. Either or. He was annoyed at the mentality there we don't throw games. We should want to win every game. Fast forward a year. We're losing game after game after game. He's not even trying. He's trying no new tactics. Look at these 2 games before the Europa League final. He's tried nothing to find a formula for having no James Maddison or Kulu. Nothing. Just putting out nothing. And then all our fans go, yeah, but you got to wrap up the players in cotton wool. Why? Crystal Palace aren't wrapping up players in cotton wool. And then they go and beat Man City in a final. Crystal Palace's 11 played against us 6 days before, then played the same 11 with Wharton coming in for Lerma, I think it was, and then go and beat Man City. But with our fans, we need to wrap them in cotton wool. This manager turned around and said, we're not playing enough last year. We can't get into our flow. This year, we're playing too many games. What
Yeah,
are you doing here? Listen, win or lose tomorrow. I want him gone. I can't deal with it. It's not my Tottenham anymore. This isn't good to watch.
Same for me, though, Savva. You know, I'm all fully behind the team tomorrow. Come tomorrow night when we kick off, you can. I forget about the Ange out, forget about Levy out, forget about all of that. For those 90 minutes, I'm going to be behind that team 150%. And if we win, I'm going to celebrate like a madman. But on the same sense, I think if we do that, then I think Ange has to have mutual handshake and we both go our separate ways. You know, thanks for the cup, but you know, we need somebody who's going to come in here and nurture this younger squad that we seem to have built.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I asked for. That's all I asked for. Well, I hate this notion. I hate this notion that if you don't like Ange, it means you don't want to win. I hate this notion that if you don't like Ange, then you're part of the failure. No, I don't like Ange because, funny enough, I don't want to watch my team lose nearly every week. Like I don't know about you. We're going to lose games. Every team loses games. But it's the manner in all of these defeats. We just look so lifeless. We look so easy to beat. We're wide open. Nothing changes. Like in 2 years, he hasn't coached this team. And the cup run is papering over all of that.
It is. And, you know, and I understand we're desperate for a trophy. And I think that's what his mandate was. Win us a trophy at any cost. But I don't think that Levy actually meant, well, we finished 17th in the league if we win Europa. Right. You know, it's like, if you want to win a cup, finish in the European positions, but, you know, and bring some silverware in. That would have been great. But I think where we are at the minute, I think we've got a real young squad. And for me, from last season to this season, the difference is our experienced players we got rid of and we replaced them with kids. So we got rid of Højbjerg, we got rid of Royale, I can't remember, there was a few others. All experienced Premier League players, and we bring in Archie Gray and Bergvall that have never played in the Premier League.
Do you know the worst thing was, though, is this manager was the one saying that he didn't want to buy experience. This manager came out and said he didn't want to buy leaders, that he wanted to develop them. It's like, look, again, our fans don't help because all of those players we got rid of in the summer, everyone called them Deadwood. Everyone said we're letting go of the Deadwood. Now what I'm hearing is, oh, well, when we get rid of the Deadwood, hang on. So hang on, we got rid of the Deadwood. There's more Deadwood. So basically anyone we bring in is Deadwood. You've got to coach. He's had 2 years. He's got to coach. By now, Paul, for me, what we should see is a pattern. We should go out there every game knowing how we're going to play and that, you know, the back four should know how to play together. There should be synergy in midfield. The wide men should know how they're connecting with the fullbacks and the forward. Every game we watch is just a wide open, chaotic mess. Every single game. Even the games we win, it's just chaotic. And I just want to coach. I want someone that coaches.
And it's like when I said with the Frankfurt game when we were away, I said all I wanted to see was a professional performance. Go out there and get the job done. And for me, it's the same tomorrow. I want that team to go out there and I want them to block that midfield up completely. You know, keep Fernandez and Casido quiet, block that midfield, run at them, make them tired, and then hopefully we can expose them down the wings with a Pedro Porro diagonal pass or, you know, Romero knocking one down the wing and crossing it in and maybe Johnson popping up at the back post. I can't see us scoring any other way, to be honest. I just think we need to press the life out of them, if I'm honest. Knacker them out because Man U can't take physicality.
I agree. I think the interesting thing for me, as I said to you just now, is you know, Ange gave that speech after the semi-final win, and you know, all Spurs fans are going, "Oh my God, look at my manager, and look how much passion he's got, and all the players are running through brick walls for him as we keep losing games, right?" And he said, "We're going to use this next 2 games to prepare for the final." What's he done? How's he used these 2 games to prepare for the final in any way, shape, or form? Like he's done nothing. He's put out all B team players, so to speak. when you've got a 13-day gap between that semi and the final. So players like Romero and Van de Ven have not played any football for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Like, I'm just, I don't know, but I don't know, mate. I don't know.
And remember last season when we didn't play for 2 weeks, it was we come out looking like dross because apparently we wasn't getting enough game time. You know, I get wrapping some players up in cotton wool like Van de Ven. His legs are made of glass. But, you know, yeah, fair enough. Play him for 45 minutes, then take him off. Bring Danzo on or whichever. But keep him match fit. You know, it's wrapping them in cotton wool and there's like putting them in a bubble and sending them to Australia while we play 2 games and bring them back for the next game. It's just crazy.
I just don't get it. I'm not seeing any of these other teams who are in finals resting their players for 2 games before a final. It's not even like there was 2 Premier League games where like, don't worry, the league's done. Don't worry, the league's done. I've never seen an attitude like it. And listen, he's got to win it. After resting all these players, after all the big talk, he's got to win it tomorrow. Because if he doesn't, he's got no leg to stand on to stay as Tottenham manager. If he doesn't, he's got no leg to stand on. And factually, he'll be the worst manager we've had for, I don't know, I think it's like half a decade or ever. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. That's just me. But Paul, listen, I'll let you finish off, and then I do have one more person, and then I've got 10 minutes, and then I need to go for another show.
All I'm going to say is tomorrow, let's all forget about everything. Let's get behind this team and let's bring that trophy home. Come on, you Spurs.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And don't let anyone tell you if you don't like Ange that you can't celebrate. Absolute nonsense. Big up to you, Paul. I've really enjoyed our chat. Sorry for my foul language. And I do click on YouTube and say, no, it's not made for kids because I do like to swear. So, but big up to you. And I'm sure we'll speak again.
My name's my name on YouTube is when the Spurs go marching in, by the way. Just so you know, that's me.
Then you, sir, are a very generous man. Thank you very much for the super chats. Thank you.
No worries.
Yes. I was thinking, I know this guy. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. And thank you for the support.
Catch you in a bit.
I'll see you later, mate. You take care. So I'm going to bring on Swanex, and then that's going to be my last person. And then in 15 minutes, I've got a bloody watch along to watch Man City v Bournemouth. Big up to you. How you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Just want to get this final over with, really, innit? To be fair.
Yeah, man. Sorry about the wait, and sorry about.
No, it's all good. It's all right. It's all good. I mean, I sort of understood some of Ben's points. I just, but not all of it, obviously. I mean, I think what I've come on today also is I'm here for the fans that are like, we don't care that we finished 17th. Because I'm personally one of those fans. I mean, for 1 second, my thing is this. This season is a standalone where I'm not going to care, provided we win the trophy. When you've gone as long as we have, I'm going to accept one severely bad season like this season on the provider that we win a trophy. Because let's be honest, as Spurs fans, we are starving for a trophy. At the beginning of the season, nobody really, let's be honest, for the last 10 years, we finished second, we finished third, we finished fourth. We had the hype of getting to Champions League and that comes with and all the bragging rights with Arsenal. But 10 years later, 10 years now, no trophy. Now we're not even going to get the Champions League. So the trophy, if we win that trophy, it will make up for finishing 17th this season, and I'll just forget about this season. I do want Ange to go still, but I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to focus so much on the Premier League as such.
Do you know what? I agree with you on one proviso, right? I agree with you as long as he goes. Because the problem for me is, yes, we can say 17th is one season standalone. My worry is this man has shown us for 2 years now, he can't cope with the Premier League games coming thick and fast. He can't cope with them. We saw he had an amazing start for 10 games. And since that day, we've seen he's lost over 50% of the games. We've seen that this manager can't coach. He can't adapt. So, yes, if you finish 17th and win the Europa League and you're promising me a new manager, fine. I'll take that on the chin. If this manager leads us out again next year, after what we've seen this year, I think it's an absolute travesty.
I feel like there's an argument to say if he lifts a trophy, that he can get 10 games. I hear the argument for it. I'm not with it no more. I was kind of,
10 games the next season.
No, I'd say about a couple months ago, I was thinking, you know what? If he wins the cup, give him 10 games. But seeing as the league position just keeps getting worse and worse, I'm now of the opinion that win the cup, have a handshake, and say goodbye. But
do you know those people that say that? Like when there are people saying, yeah, I give him 10 games the next season. The problem is we then fall into what my mate Ben couldn't understand. And I wasn't saying we were as big a club as Man United. All I was doing was picking the one example of when they didn't let go of Ten Hag when they should have.
Yeah.
They beat, and that wasn't me judging us against Man U, by the way. That was me judging a manager sacking, right? So Ten Hag beats Man City in the final. No one expected it. Fair play to him. And then Man U went with their emotions rather than what should have been business and commercial sense.
Yeah.
Kept him, gave the guy another 230, 240 million. Now they're in a position where the manager who's come in is like, well, hang on, I need my players. This is the problem with the whole give Ange 10 more games.
Yeah.
If we give Ange 150 million in the summer, let's just say 150 million in the summer, and he's allowed to make our signings. 10 games in, we're still in this form where we can't win games, or we've won 3 out of 10 and we sack him. Now, next season's written off because the new manager coming in is going to be like, hang on, I need a summer. I need my players. And Daniel Levy's going to be like, sorry, mate, we've just spent our transfer budget. So I feel like this is where I think people need to, in the heat of the moment, yay, Ange. In the heat of the moment, brilliant. In the bigger picture, I just don't, I can't see it ever working.
No, I totally agree. I think Man United have given us the blueprint of what happens when you keep the manager, even though all the signs point that they should go in it. And obviously, I mean, I heard you earlier saying that you was comparing us to Man United fans, and I kind of disagree with your point there. That obviously Man United fans, in the sense that Man United over the past 3 years, they've won stuff. As bad as poor as they've been, they've won something, whereas we haven't. So we have to look at it very differently. You know what I mean? Because they might look at it and say, "Oh, Europa Cup don't really mean nothing," or Amram gets sacked and but we haven't won it for 17 years. So
I get that, but my point was more around the fact that, you know, if we're going to pretend to be a big club, we can't be sitting here and going 17th's all right. Man United fans are apoplectic that they're 16th. And we've got some fans in this fan base that are apoplectic that we're 17th, guys like me. And then we've got people like Ben who, but this injury happened, but this game happened, but by the time the players came back, the league didn't matter. Just so everyone knows, the players came back from injury. We had 12 league games left. We had 36 games to play for, right? We had 36 points to play for. Right? Sorry, points, not game. We had 36 points to play for. That is a third of a season. 12 games is one game under a third of a season. And we're going, don't worry. Let's just, sorry, for me, I don't get that. Get the players back fit. The whole point I was told was that when they get fit, we're going to fly up that table. And what's happened? They've got fit. We've gone that way. So there's just too many excuses for this man. Too many.
You know, because I know you've got quite a few stats. In your stats, can you see how many times the back four, like our main back four or back five, have played together this season? Because obviously, I keep hearing, when all 5 of them are playing, we've lost like 4% or 4 games or whatever.
It's not many. It's not many. But the problem is the stat that people give you, right, is the 20, 115, drawn 3, lost 2. That is over 2 seasons. And most of those wins were in the first 10 games of last season. So there's that to point out. Now, my worry has been, first of all, teams don't always have their best back 5 out. You've got to cope with that, right? You've got to cope. If Porro's out, you cope with that. If Van der Ven's out, you cope with that. That's why football is a 25-man squad. My biggest issue with this is we know that Van der Ven and Romero are injury-prone footballers. We know that. We know that. I don't expect them to play every game because since I saw the other day, it was something like since Van der Ven's been here, he's played something like 44% of games available, right? And Romero's is something like 59, something like that. So you've got a centre-back pairing that literally between them have completed one season out of two. So my point is, if you know that, we can't use that as an excuse because we know Van der Ven and Romero injury prone. If we go into next season with Van der Ven and Romero and people go, oh, but he's injured. Yeah, but we've got 2 years of evidence now that tell us don't rely on these two. I'm not talking about their ability. I'm just talking about their availability. So for me, I don't think we can use that as an excuse. I don't think Udogie is good enough that we can use him missing as an excuse. Porro defensively isn't good enough that we can use him missing as an excuse. Now, going that way, he's bloody brilliant. For me, the bigger question's got to be this. Put a number 6 in front of the back 4. A lot of these goals don't go in. A lot of these transitions don't happen. Funnily enough, stop inverting the fullbacks. What happens when we stop inverting the fullbacks? I.e. Man City, 4-0. I.e. Brentford away, 2-0. I.e. Frankfurt didn't concede. But my problem with him, mate, is not who's missing. It's that every game we do well, with the flat back 4 not inverting and the 2 midfielders sitting on top of the defence, the very next game, it's like he goes, oh, I'll go back to my old ways. And you're like, but you've seen what works. It's madness.
Yeah, he's very reactionary, isn't he? I think the problem with Ange, and talking about the fact that the last 2 games hasn't played hardly any of the first team 11, he'll try something and he'll see it doesn't work. But for example, he won't look at the reasons why it didn't work. For example, the whole back 3, we played it against Everton, but I don't think Romero was in it. I think we had Davies in there. I think we had Archie Gray. And it's like the back 3 works. The back 3 can work with our first team defenders. But now he won't try it again because he's been burnt that one time. And it's like, I think he planned to play our first team over these next 2 games, but obviously Kulu got injured and straight away he's like, damn it, I've had an injury, I can't risk nobody. I think he's managing with a lot of fear behind him. And that's the problem. And you've got to be fearless in the Premier League. You've got to take your chances and say, okay, it didn't work, let me try it again. Let's tweak it a bit. And that's where he's falling over, especially in this last 2 weeks. He's just, I don't think he's cut out for the Prem.
I agree, but listen, just for the last mix, I do need to go because I'm starting another show.
Of course.
I completely agree with you. My issue is this. I always go back to this, what Roy Keane said. I think Roy Keane was absolutely bang on the money. He's talking about balancing Europa League and Premier League as though Spurs were playing. I mean, forget the Man U bit. He's talking about Man U as well. But he's talking about it's a disgrace because we can't balance it when we're not playing top teams. There should be no reason why, because we managed to knock out Alkmaar, that we can't win a game that next weekend in the Premier League. And if that is the case, how on earth are we going to manage in a Champions League where you're not playing AZ Alkmaars? You're not playing Bodo or Ferencvaros. You're playing top teams. So how's he going to manage that? I just think it's mad.
I think the mentality is a bit different though, because obviously when you halfway through the season, you knew Spurs were struggling, and I feel like the players, they rise their game for the Europa. A, because the competition is not that great, and 2, because it's your only chance to try and win something or do something. I think the players just, when they come to the Premier League, I think they're just mentally just down tools because like, where are we going to finish? 15th? What's 15th to 17th? There's nothing to play for, and I think that plays.
Sure, but the problem is it's 3 million, it's 3.1 million for every position in the league, and you know who will care about that?
Yeah, Daniel but the players don't, because they'll still get their weekly amount, won't they? So it's like, but then I hear Daniel, but they don't.
That's up to the manager to drill that into them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Look, I do need to go. Listen, I'll end the show what you're on. Listen, big up just quickly to Seven, my man, the Sanctuary of Seven. Says, Savva, you're the Gordon Ramsay of football. Yes, I will go and wash my mouth out. I promise. What a potty mouth I've got. Big up to you, Sanctuary. Really appreciate you, my man. And big up to Guest Latoon sticking in a super sticker as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you very much to Swanix, to Paul, to Ben, to King TW, to Kyle, to Ryan, I'm missing someone, but big up to each and every one of you. I will never change. I'm too old to change. I'm like Ange. I'm stuck in my ways. Big up to you all. Take care. I'm going to do a watch along right now. Let me send you. Swanix, if you need to jump, my man. Just see yourself
cool.
out. I'm going to send you over to my. I'm going to send you over to my watch along on FHTV Plus. You can watch it on this channel as well. And I'll be starting that in about 3 or 4 minutes. So big up to each and every one of you. Oh no, hang on, that's not it, is it? That's not it. Bear with me 1 second. Let's do this. Where's the watch along? There we go. Customization, redirect, add, redirect. And what's my name? It's no, that's not there. Where is it? Bum 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 bum. You would think that my channel would be the first one that pops up, wouldn't you? You genuinely would think. Nope. Okay, there we go. Bournemouth. There you go. I'm going to redirect everyone over there. I'll be there in 3 or 4 minutes. Much love. Thank you to you all. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs. Big up Phil Coys with a super sticker. Much love, my friend. Thank you. That was a very stressful show. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs.